Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the outer fringes of reality, where fact meets speculation, where paranoia meets illumination, where madness overlaps the fragile membrane of sanity. Do not be afraid. Open your eyes and open your minds to that region that lies beyond the realm of the known, that region we call the ExoZone. I am your host, Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth. And with me is my co-host and aficionado of all things fringe, the Nerdrotic Channel's Gary Beekler. Gary, are you ready to get cryptic with cryptids?
I should unmute my microphone when I'm
God
damn it. I am ready. I'm ready to get creepy with the cryptids, pet them, caress them, make them our own, and then free them into the wild if they need to be, and protect them as they need to be protected. If they
That's
exist.
right. We do not want to harm them in any way.
No.
We want to guarantee that they continue to exist and be fabulous, because they're miracles of the world, and to let them perish would be a sin against everything. And I was going to say mankind, but against creation itself. They're so.
And you got to wonder. I mean, like, across the vast reaches of time, there had to have been some weird creature, or the last of some weird creature that maybe was protected by some, tribe in the jungle or something. And life is long and weird. It could have happened. I totally believe that. I believe that there was some holdover from some extinction event or something at some time. I mean, we've seen it with the dingoes and with other animals. So, I mean, why not? Why not? Consider the possibility. That's what we do here.
Someone's rocking my dingo.
The dingo ate my baby.
Well, this is one of my favorite things to consider. This possibility that there might be in the Congo River Basin a creature known locally as Mokele Mbembe, which is a phrase that means, in the native patois of the natives of the region, one who stops the flow of rivers. Now, this is a massive, massive creature. But before we get into that, I just want to welcome the chat. Thank you guys for being here on this Thursday afternoon. I think it's Thursday. And I just want to send a shout out to Bionic Belly Button, Purple Lady, Starry Eyed Girl, Mary Ashmead, Kim Van Uki, Unpainted Lead Syndrome, Samuel Aragon, Thomas Preston, Louvrian Imikara, Warren Roar, What is the Matrix, Maverick MX, Rogue Jedi, and so many more. Bill the Cat is here. Travis, Damien times 24/7, Uncle Remus, Snornat Greyjoy, Brian Neeran, Easy Does It, Mr. Samuel Platium, Big Red Bullfrog is in the house. Basil is here. Alan Massey, Reverend Benfried Axvilde, the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, and so many more. Eager seekers of justice and truth, Dilbertson, Surly Unicorn, Katala Laris, Russell Troost, CT5555, Call Me Fives, Michael Maloney, and Red Monarch, so many more. Butthurt Entertainment is here. I know, we're all Butthurt Entertainment. You are us. I've been on Butthurt Entertainment. Chubby Teddy Monster Productions, J. Tim Pansky, and so many more. Katala Laris, Chief Eddie, welcome one and all. You have the bold, brave eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth, folks. And we are here seeking some truth and having a little bit of fun. And right now I'm trying for the first time a new bourbon I just went out and bought today. It is Elijah Craig small batch. And I'm going to take a sip before we delve into this treacherous Congolese terrain. Cheers.
Cheers. And I just want to say to Bionic Belly Button, hope you're having a very good afternoon and life treats you strangely, interestingly, and well. Thank you.
And now we're going to do PBS we're going to go ahead and talk about Mokele Mbembe, which many
that's
would
fun.
call pseudoscience, but I say, you go to hell, you bastards, you doubting bastards, and lick my sweaty balls.
I definitely say, eat a bag of dicks. Yeah.
You guys cut it out. This is my fucking channel, all right? Quit screwing up on my channel. Gonna have all the ratings drop.
Sorry, Harvey. Jeez, Harvey's started like on video. I posted a video on his page, and he made us say bleep instead of cursing.
Oh,
So it's
sorry.
like, it's
I'm
just,
sorry.
I don't know. He's a tyrant. He's getting
I meant
full of himself.
dicks, like guys named Dick.
Yeah, like
That makes
me.
it all different. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, carry on then, Dix.
Thank you, Harvey. All right. So let's talk about Mokele Mbembe. Now, this creature was first mentioned in 1909. It was published in the autobiography of a big game hunter named Carl Hagenbeck, entitled Beasts and Men. Now, Carl Hagenbeck was an African explorer, and he claimed to have heard from two independent sources about a creature living in Rhodesia, which was described by the natives as, quote, half elephant, half dragon. Joseph Menges, who was a naturalist at the time, also told Carl Hagenbeck about similar stories that he had heard. Hagenbeck speculated that, quote, it can only be some kind of dinosaur, seemingly akin to the Brontosaurus. Now, of course, Brontosauri at the time were considered, an actual species until the scientists, the same killjoy scientists that took Pluto away from us, said that Brontosaurus did not exist. But I know Brontosaurus exists because I've got a goddamn model of one from the Sinclair World's Fair in like 1963. So there, smartass. But another source, Hans Schomburg, asserted that while at Lake Bangweiliu, he noted a lack of hippopotami in the water. And the natives there informed him, well, no, there are no hippos, all eaten. A large hippo-killing creature lived in Lake Bangweiliu. Isn't that something?
Like Bangladesh, a large creature that eats hippos.
Right. Right. Which is weird because even Brontosaurus or, later on, I think they changed the name of it to Diplosaurus or something like that, are herbivores. However, it's not necessarily that they eat them. They might just kill them. Like hippos are aggressive, and if it came between like a hippo attacking one of these creatures, they might retaliate in a violent way. We don't know.
Yeah.
So now there's another account by a German adventurer named Lieutenant Paul Gratz from 1911. And this is the account he gave. The crocodile is found only in very isolated specimens in Lake Bangweiliu, except in the mouths of the large rivers at the north. In the swamp lives the Nasanga, much feared by the natives, a degenerate saurian, which one might well confuse with the crocodile, were it not that its skin has no scales and its toes are armed with claws. I did not succeed in shooting a Nasanga, but on the island of Mwabwala, I came by some strips of its skin.
Oh,
wow!
I wonder if he kept it.
Yeah, I know. Well,
made a coat or something.
Made like a Mokele Mbembe coat, or at least galoshes or something. But this is fascinating to me. I mean, to me, Gary, this gives hope that there is somewhere in the world a small but extant version of dinosaurs still alive. I've given up hope on the Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster used to be my favorite cryptid, and I was very excited when I saw National. What was it? It was Scientific American, one of those kind of magazines that had an expedition down there and actually photographed underwater some pictures that seem to show a giant fin and a and a head that seem to exhibit bilateral symmetry. But thus far, with countless expeditions with sonar and everything else, despite some weird sonar results occasionally of seemingly massive things moving down there, we have no proof. And I just feel like the biomass in Loch Ness is not sufficient to support a population of sizable carnivores. There's just not enough life in the water
that's once I got older. I mean, and once I learned more about it, I was with you. I was so on board with Nessie. Damn.
Oh man, I know. I really love it, but unfortunately, I just don't believe it. And then there's the allegations that the famous surgeon's photo was nothing but a toy submarine with a head stuck on it, which is sad. These are images that haunt my dreams. That photograph is just magical.
It's symbolic. I mean, I remember seeing it on In Search Of, which is I think the first place I heard of Nessie.
Mm-hmm.
But it was there was the like the Mount Rushmore of the paranormal, and Nessie was on it. It was Nessie, Bigfoot, UFOs, and
I know it,
and it's everything else.
Heartbreaking, but we have hope in Mokele Mbembe in the remote reaches of the Congo. Now, another report originates from another German. They did get around, didn't they? Captain Ludwig Freiherr von Stein zu Lauschnitz, as described by Willy Ley in Exotic Zoology in 1959, which was a book that Willy Ley wrote. Now, von Stein, we'll call him for short, was conducting a survey of German colonies in 1913 in what is now labeled Cameroon. He heard stories of an enormous reptile called Mokele Mbembe, alleged to live in the jungles, and he included a description of this creature in his official report. Now, according to Exotic Zoology, quote, von Stein worded his report with utmost caution, knowing it might be seen as unbelievable. Nonetheless, von Stein thought the tales were credible. Trusted native guides had related the tales to him, and the stories were related to him by independent sources, but they featured many of the same details. And although von Stein's report was never formally published for, the mainstream, Ley quoted von Stein as writing, quote, "The animal is said to be of a brownish gray color with a smooth skin. Its size is approximately that of an elephant, at least that of a hippopotamus. It is said to have a long and very flexible neck and only one tooth, but a very long one. Some say it is a horn. A few spoke about a long muscular tail like that of an alligator. Canoes coming near it are said to be doomed. The animal is said to attack the vessels at once and to kill the crews, but without eating the bodies." Aha. That's interesting.
That is key.
Yes. The creature is said to live in the caves that have been washed out by the river and the clay of its shores at sharp bends. It is said to climb the shores even at daytime in search of food. Its diet is said to be entirely vegetable. This feature disagrees with a possible explanation as a myth. The preferred plant was shown to me. It is a kind of liana with large white blossoms with a milky sap and apple-like fruits. At the Sombo River, I was shown a path said to have been made by this animal in order to get at its food. The path was fresh, and there were plants of the described type nearby. But since there were too many tracks of elephants, hippos, and other large mammals, it was impossible to make out a particular spoor with any amount of certainty. Now, Alfred Aloysius Smith had worked for a British trading company in Gabon in the late 1800s, and he wrote a memoir in 1927 and mentioned the Jagonini and Amali. "Aye, and behind the Cameroon there's things living we know nothing about. I could have made books about many things. The Jagonini, they say, is still in the swamps and rivers. Great diver, it means. Comes out of the water and devours people. Old men will tell you what their grandfathers saw, but they still believe it's there. Same as the Amali I've always taken it to be. I've seen the Amali's footprint, about the size of a good frying pan in circumference and 3 claws instead of 5. He also speculates that some great creature like the Amali could be responsible for finding broken and splintered ivory in the now mythical elephants' graveyards. This account seems rather, sensationalistic, wouldn't you say?
A little bit. I mean, like,
He's excited.
He's excited, and it doesn't discount it. You can never discount like the flair for the dramatic. We certainly saw, just on a recent thing that both you and I covered on that with Walter Mosley. It's he was a little dramatic with his writing in his op-ed. So the people do that. That's good. That keeps us interested, and I think that was on purpose. So, but yeah, a little dramatic.
It was, but I enjoyed it.
I did too, and that's you got to love something like that. So
you really got to. I have got to vamp for me, Gary, for a minute. Pull up some super chats here.
Vamping. So okay, while I go through the chat, this is something I can certainly believe. And the first time I've heard of Mokele Mbembe, which I just like saying the name. It's fun.
It is a nice name.
Mokele Mbembe. It sounds like it should be a song in The Lion King. The original animated one that was good. That I hear. I haven't seen it, but and it's something that I could certainly believe. And one of the things I did recently, because I do things like this, and I'm not apologetic about it at all, because I'm a weirdo. I go on Google Earth, and I go on Google Earth and look for weird stuff, because if they have found structures in the Sahara Desert simply by looking at Google Earth. There are entire channels dedicated to finding things on Google Earth. CFAP 773 or whatever, he's a pretty good channel. He's found all these mounds and stuff. And so I looked at the Congo. I checked out the jungles. For one, when everybody was worried that the rainforest was burning down. And then later we found out that it kind of does this every few years, like large swaths of it burn down. It's actually good for it. I mean, it's bad that they're clearing it out. Don't get me wrong. But forests need to burn down once in a while. That's part of the circle of life. But I looked at the Congo, and man, you cannot see. But I found a village. There's an actual village that you can get to by river only, and it is in the dead center of the Congo. And it's weird because I saw this little brown spot like in the middle of it, but it's so dense. People can't walk in it. You can't walk in it. People have never been through it. Wow. Not a single human being. There are large portions of the Congo, not a single human being that we know of. No, well, there might have been some people who, some tribe that has been there, but that we know of has been there and set foot in there. So certainly there can be something we've never discovered.
I agree. Basil in the chat is saying, why is it that no one has ever had some high-powered weapons every time they bump into some crypto creature, or at least a high-def cam? Well, there's not a lot of technology in the Congo around these native tribes. So, it's not that odd,
No, again, go on Google Earth and take a look at it. It is not accessible, and you have to carry with you what you have, and there's not a lot of power. It looks like there might have been some like a generator or something in this village, but there's no way they could get any power there at all. We still have to put stuff on wires and cables, and they aren't laying any wires or cables. There's no roads. And again, it's only accessible on a river, and it is remote. I mean, it is in the dead center of the Congo. And then you have to go through different countries. All right. The Congo covers different countries, and some of these countries are not nice places to go. And Africa's tough. It's a tough continent, Real quick story, Molly, which is in the jungle, but Molly, I did one of Melissa's clients funds schools for girls in Mali when it was legal. And I did when I was editing down in LA, I did a quick project for her to, and she went to Mali, shot a bunch of footage. I edited together, got it ready for YouTube for the fundraiser, and then I had to pull it because the girls, some of them were kidnapped, and the other ones' lives were in danger because they were going to a school. So that's not the only country. So you've got multiple countries where there's major oppression and there's no law anywhere. Certainly, if somebody can actually make it there and survive, you can't bring a bunch of equipment. You can't bring a crew, and they're not going to let you bring in a high-powered weapon, I'm guessing.
I would think not. I don't know. I don't know what controls they have there, but I tell you, it's just not a surprise to me. These places are still remote, and they are a real pain in the ass to get to. And it's just fascinating that these remote tribes have had this tradition for longer than things like publicity and things like that were a thing. So I find it possible, but we'll discuss this a little bit more. But I do want to get to some of these super chats real quick. Michael Maloney, Legionnaire and friend Michael Maloney with a $5 super chat. Hail Michael says wampum for Harvey TM.
Thank you very much. It all belongs to me, guys. All the stuff belongs to me. I get all the wampum. It's my channel. Back to you, Chet.
Yeah. Thanks, Harvey. Thank you, Michael Maloney, for the wampum. Of course, he doesn't realize it's beads and nuts and berries on a string.
What? No, that stuff. Don't give me that crap. I know that was a traditional Indian wampum, but this is American wampum. Good old American Uncle Sam wampum. Back to you.
That's what I bought Melissa from her dad.
Really?
Some beads and some whiskey. Yeah.
Oh, you got a bargain.
I did. Oh my God. Yeah.
You're that ignorant savage.
I do it again, right?
I just called her that ignorant savage.
It's okay. She's a Winnebago. So
if he traded her for beads and whiskey, then yeah.
That's her tribe, by the way. That's
really?
Yeah, yes. She's part Winnebago.
I see. That's fascinating.
She wasn't spawned from an RV. She was.
I thought that they were cryptids too. So now I know they exist.
They exist. Yes,
absolutely fascinated. Josiah Clinch with a $2 super chat and a admonition for you, Gary. He says the AWOL car killer has showed up. Gary Beekler, you are late.
The AWOL car
killer.
Well, I guess AWOL is late. AWOL car killer. Yes. I will just respond. Yes. I'm sorry.
Yes, Josiah. You have shamed him.
Properly shamed.
Thank you, Josiah Clinch, brother. It's always good to see you. He did it all in caps too. He was quite
oh my God. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's with Josiah, he's a fun guy. He partly kids, but he loves. Dilbertson with a 10-pound super chat. Thank you. Oh, great and exalted Dilbertson, my friend. I know, man. God damn it. I'm trying to get back to you. I keep working my way back to you, babe. I'm trying.
Dilbert.
I'm doing the best I can, but I still appreciate you. Don't go changing, brother. He says, hail Doomcock, praise Gary, salute the mods, and as always, rejoice. It's the ExoZone. Curses to Harvey. I don't buy his cute personality BS. He is pure evil, and we should remember that.
Yes.
You say pure evil, like, that's a negative thing. You want pure evil, you want some half-ass evil, like politicians, pure evil's better. You don't screw around, except no substitute skis. Seriously, Dilverton, you should be grateful.
It's very rare when you meet anything in this world that's pure, Dilbertson.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah, man. Come on. Give me some love.
All right. Well, thank you, Dilbertson. I'm glad you're rejoicing that it's the ExoZone. I am too. I love the ExoZone. And I think this is going to be a weird one. Because Gary actually has some breaking news we're gonna get into in a little bit here. Space news. It's not cryptids, although there might be cryptids on board. I don't know, but we'll discuss that in just a little bit. But it's cool. It's really cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Dilbertson, very much. That was very generous of you, sir. Zontar with a $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Zontar, who says if Disney is being honest about Star Wars revenue and the allegations of fraud, we have no reason to believe that they are. There's still $1 billion in the red on it. It's hard to know, but I tell you, if the SEC allegations from that whistleblower are correct, and Disney padded its theme park, revenue to the tune of $6 billion in 1 year, that's major. So, the fact that they didn't show this person the door, who is an accountant who worked for Disney and is investigating, says that there might be something to these allegations. And, if they'd be willing to cheat on that hypothetically, then I see no reason why they wouldn't lie about the grosses of, rise of soy walker, ruse of soy walker. I heard that the other day, ruse of soy walker. I think that's perfect. And also, we had been very suspicious they were padding the box office of Captain Marvel and doing all sorts of manipulations for some ungodly reason I can't fathom, to try and make Captain Marvel seem a whole lot more successful than it was. I don't get it, but those accusations have a lot more credibility now than they did in my book, given this SEC investigation. Any comment, Gary, before we move on?
I totally agree. When I work down there, I mean, the people, they're open about their voodoo economics down in Hollywood. I mean, they're brazen about it. They know they have ways. They have it fine-tuned what they can do. They've been doing it for 100 years, and the government is fine with it. They have never ever questioned it. B movies exist to hide money. That's the reason they exist. So, I mean, everybody knows that, and it's out there in the open, and there's all kind of skullduggery. We'll call it skullduggery. That's a
good word for it. And I'm not doubting it. I am open to it, but we'll have to see what comes out of the SEC thing. But I tell you what, don't expect them to admit that, they are fudging. Don't think that the grosses that you get are the grosses that were. Let me just put that. Be skeptical. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. Don't take anything they say at face value.
Never. It's insane.
It's a marketing tool. Everything Hollywood does, everything an actor does, everything a creative does is to benefit them creatively and to draw attention to themselves. And only percentages of it are true and genuine.
I agree 100%. Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey with a 5-pound super chat, swinging from the bars. Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey says, I don't think Mothman exists. He wouldn't be predicting disasters. He'd be too busy bumping up against the street lights. That's true. And it causes brain damage. I mean, you got to think these bugs, if they're constantly bumping headfirst into hot bulbs, there's got to be some cognitive decline in the years. I mean, they can't be as sharp as they were, as astute. Don't you think? That's
absolutely. And the biggest missed opportunity is, I just thought of this, is Arthur from the Tick versus the Mothman. I want to see that battle.
That would be good.
That would be
I would
good.
love to see that.
But
maybe make it happen.
He'd be just flying up to the sun, or no. The Mothman is actually a weird story. So I actually do kind of believe in the Mothman, because there's some very bizarre things behind that. It is one of the weird. It is very Skinwalker weird. There's, I mean, that's like dogs smoking. It's like, what? But
absolutely.
We have dreams, we have nightmares, and maybe it's part of a reality that we don't understand, that we're accessing, and maybe that's bleeding into our reality. I don't know. I've taken a lot of acid and thought about these things.
Well, I've thought of it without the acid. So
there you go. That's even better.
I know. I'd see, or worse, depending.
Yeah, I don't know.
At least you have an excuse. But we're gonna talk about Mothman, Gary. Awesome. But for one more super chat before we get back to Mokele Mbembe. It is from Felipe Abrigo with 2,500 Chilean pesos. Thank you, Felipe Abrigo, who says, "Oh, Overlord of Overlords, I turned 38 today, and I wanted to ask Overlord Shatner to sing for me. Cheers, guys." Shatner, would you come and sing happy birthday to Felipe Abrigo? I'd be delighted. Oh, Felipe. Oh, Felipe. Oh, Felipe. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Felipe Abrigado. Happy birthday to you. And many more on Channel 4. Make a date with Channel 8. Have a good one. Cheers. All right. Well, that was Shatner himself, sending some love to our man in Chile, Felipe Abrigo. Amigo, gracias. Feliz Navidad. Bless you, sir, and thank you for sharing time with us in the ExoZone. Now, I want to go ahead and get back to a little bit more about Mokele Mbembe before we move on to Mothman. So there was a expedition in the 80s, actually 2 expeditions in the 80s, conducted by Dr. Roy Mokele, who was a biologist at the University of Chicago. And he said, quote, I checked maps and the data on the maps was white. It said insufficient data to delineate terrain. Well, that got me, he says. It's the end of the world. It gives you a feeling of a surviving prehistoric time. So here is an imaginative scientist who is open. His mind is open, and he is still got his youthful enthusiasm for the possibilities that might exist in the world. That's like my kind of scientist, a guy that says, well, if there's a remote possibility, I'm going to look into it. I'm not going to just close my mind and, go ahead and embrace the orthodoxy of the time. I'm going to go and see if I can find this damn thing myself. So
that we need so much more. Thank you. Can I just publicly thank that person? Thank you. We need, I know I'm a bit hard on the orthodoxy of the establishment, but as the generations move on, I think we are going to have more scientists. We're starting to see this in archaeology as well. And I just praise that. I'm not saying you have to believe in everything we talk about. Just be open to some of it. That's it. I mean, don't you close your mind and you're no different than, the Inquisition from, back in the day.
Right.
So thank you.
As opposed to our Sunday Inquisition, where
that one's spot on. We're the new Inquisition,
That's right. On our Inquisition, we don't close minds; we open them, sometimes with blunt implements. But
there you go.
They deserve it. They deserve it. They have it coming.
We close minds and kick butts.
That's right.
And open heads and yeah,
and it's great fun. So be sure to join us every Sunday. It's
a
must-stop destination for you guys.
A must-see YouTube.
Absolutely. Well, in the 80s, Dr. Mokele led, that's Makal, led 2 expedition teams to the Likoala swamp and rainforest area of the Congo. It is vast, it is inhabited by pygmies, and it might contain Mokele Mbembe, Africa's version of the Loch Ness Monster. Now, again, despite being a herbivore, it is said to roar aggressively if approached by humans. And some say that it has a single horn, which it uses to kill elephants and presumably hippopotamuses if the past accounts are true.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
how does it do that? Woof.
I know.
I mean, it must just be, well, it's big, it's powerful, it's got that neck. It could probably just, I don't know, who knows, but hippopotamuses are badass.
They are.
They are not to be messed with ever. So
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And now, according to an article on BBC.com, there have been more than 50 expeditions to the region, but no scientific evidence has been found, excluding a possible large claw-shaped footprint that was gathered by a French missionary in 1776, as well as a number of other odd claw-shaped footprints in modern times. Now, the only photographic images have been inconclusive because they've not been well lighted and they're fuzzy, out of focus, etc. However, one man spoke to the BBC anonymously who said, "I was in a boat on the river when I saw Mokele Mbembe. He began to chase us. Mokele Mbembe rose out of the water. We ran or he would have killed us." Oh, man. Jesus. Paul Olin, who is a man who was a community worker, spent more than 10 years living in the Bayaka in the Congo, in the Central African Republic, says just to the north, the people who live in the area have no doubt about the creature's existence. When people are sitting around the campfire talking, they talk about the Mokele Mbembe. It's something that is a reality in their lives. So they do not look at it as a myth. They are absolutely convinced of its reality. Now, people. Adam Davies is a Brit expatriate who spends a lot of time traveling the world looking for cryptids. He's twice gone to Africa looking for Mokele Mbembe, and he says certainly mythology surrounds it, but when you put it to people, is this a real creature? They become quite affronted, and they consistently came out with physical descriptions. Never dismiss tribal accounts on the basis that they must be talking tosh because they are tribal. That's not right, and it's actually disrespectful. I agree. I mean, these are people who live here. You know, it's like doubting a guy who lives in let's say I don't know,
San Francisco, and doubting that there's poop on the sidewalk.
Yeah, right. That's a great one. It's like, listen, I went to San Francisco, many, many years ago, and there was no poop on the ground that I noticed then. But when a man who steps over the poop every day and says there's Mokele Mpoopy in San Francisco, you better believe his ass.
Mokele
Mpoopy. I have seen it. And then you ask him why isn't he taking any pictures of it? Why isn't he posting any pictures? It's because, well, it's so common that it's not really something he wants to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at Lake Tele right now, and in the Congo. For one, is this like a volcanic lake? Is that like a caldera, or is it a?
I don't know.
Because it is really round.
Really?
I mean, it is round. And it's in the middle of effing nowhere. Yeah, so it has to be some kind of volcanic caldera or old meteor or something. I mean, it's weird.
That's very interesting.
Well, look at how. Can I share?
Yeah, please. Let me.
It's pretty freaking round, man.
See where
kind of like Rian Johnson's head. Yeah,
it's Ruin Johnson's fucking. Okay, I'm trying to get to it. Sorry, I got so many screens here.
That's okay. So
I'll add it. There we go. Oh yeah. Jeez.
Let me get to the Google map, and I can.
It actually looks like a giant clawed footprint.
It does, and then if you go out a little bit, look at the. I mean, it fades out.
Oh, that's weird.
Look at how. Remote.
Oh, that's weird.
It's really in the middle of it. I mean, this is right here, Bikoro. That's what a lake looks like.
Right.
This is what a volcanic caldera looks like, or
that's weird.
Yeah.
Or some kind of weird impact or something.
Yep.
There's something weird going on there, which is, like the Professor Challenger stories, The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle about, isolated regions where dinosaurs still survived. That's very suspicious. I don't know what the science of that would be in terms of increasing or decreasing likelihood of saurian survival, but that's odd.
It is. It looks like one of the Carolina Bays, if you're familiar with those. Or if you're not, they don't know what those are. They have a very strange scientific explanation, but Randall Carlson thinks that they are offshoot from an impact, and it makes sense because there's the Carolina Bays, and then there's some basins in Nebraska that look the same, and this looks like one of those, which could be offshoot from an impact. I don't know how that plays into Mokele Mbembe, but bizarre.
Yeah, I don't. That's weird.
Yeah, it is. And
what if, Gary? What if This is just a little what if.
Sure.
You know, the asteroid impact that made the dinosaurs go extinct. You know, that the way that they went extinct was it threw up, basically created something like a nuclear winter that, you know, the whole Earth was enshrouded by the debris kicked up in the atmosphere by this meteor impact. And so plants died, you know, animals died. It was a prolonged period of darkness and cold. What if this is or was way back when something of a hot spot? Like, what if it in the distant past was some kind of volcanic, you know, caldera that had quieted down by that time, but was still getting some geothermal heat that created like a little hot zone where these creatures could have weathered out the storm.
There you go. And maybe spawn this giant jungle. I mean, and that you cannot walk through.
That is just astonishing. I like that theory.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's neat, Gary. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Dude. That is beautiful. And I'm excited, man. I think that something could be there. Now for those of you guys who disbelieve in Mokele Mbembe, there are a lot of animals throughout history that were thought to be cryptids as well, that turned out later to be actually real. There was the okapi, which was a cloven-hoofed mammal with zebra-like stripes on its legs. Turns out that creature survived and was found to the east of the Congo in Brazzaville. You know, once the gorilla was thought to be mythical, but then they found actually, you know, documented proof of that and captured a few. Henry Morton Stanley was kicking around in Africa looking for an African unicorn. And he reported seeing a mysterious donkey-like animal journeying through the Congo in the 1880s. It turned out that was the okapi. And of course, the coelacanth is a prehistoric survivor, a fish that you know, actually proved to exist, and it is a bizarre looking thing. So
that's the one they found. It's they thought it was like gone for thousands of years, right, or maybe more. And it just popped up. And they're still all over the place.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It is bizarre.
So those who believe the Mokele Mbembe exists, they're hopeful that they can track one down. But you know, for now, that is a region of science that remains open and a frontier that we can still push against. I hope that somebody gets photos of it.
And just imagine a biped that can, you know, that's probably as smart as us, tooling around, you know, the North American forests that can be just as, you know, not as dense as the jungle, but, you know, there are, like I've said before, I've said it on the show before, that some of the area up here in Northern California and Oregon has never been fully explored by man. Mostly, but not all.
Weird.
Yeah. It's just, there's nothing there. I mean, you know, there's fire watches and stuff, but they have microphones out there and they've heard some weird things, you know. They have they have mics out there in the forest that they just leave, and there's video of it. Who knows if it's real or not? I mean, you never know.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Look, these things have been legends for a long time. I mean, you know, hundreds of years. And I think that it's possible. You know, my mind is open still. It's not closed like on the Loch Ness Monster. I think it's possible. And you still can't discount, too, that all of these cryptids could be similar to the skinwalkers at Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, they might be popping in from other dimensions and they might pop out again. Who can say? But the peculiar shape of that lake and the isolated nature of the region, I don't think that you can reasonably say that it's impossible at this point. You can't rule it out. There may not
Unlikely,
be.
sure. Impossible, no.
No, yeah. So I still have hope. Alan Massey confirms Mokele Mbembe's existence with this $2 super chat. Thank you, Alan. He says, I found that creature. I divorced it 7 years ago. Well, geez. I guess it ate you out of yard and home, Alan Massey. A yard and home. Well, my friend, I'm glad that you survived the encounter. Normally, encounters with men enrage the creature and they kill it. I'm sure, however, that yours attempted to kill you, and I'm glad you survived. Thank you, Alan Massey. I'm glad that you're here to tell the tale. Basil with 3 super chats in a row. Thank you, Basil. He says, Basil with a $2 Canadian super chat says, Red Monarch? So they call to each other. It's like, Basil, Red Monarch? They call like in a jungle, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm calling you, you know, that kind of thing. Basil, I hope that your Red Monarch comes back to you. Basil also with a $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Basil. Says, people, open another tab and YouTube X-Files theme in major key, and you will hear the ExoZone theme song. I've played it. It's peculiar. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an opinion, Gary, on whether that would be the ExoZone theme song or not. It's you know, in a major key. It's not terribly mysterious, but I do respect my friend Basil. So if you guys want to Google X-Files theme in major key, you can give it a listen and chime in as to what you think about that song. And finally, Basil with a $5 Canadian super chat again. Thank you, Basil. He says, dinosaurs are basically big chickens, or also known as prehistoric doomcocks.
Yep.
Prehistoric doomcocks. Wow. The ancestor of Doomcoccus tyrannus, which is a dinosaur with a kind of a metally cranium that kept his head from blowing up when he saw bad pop culture. So
yeah,
it's I'm
when
glad that he
asteroid.
Yeah, the asteroid. Thank you very much, Basil, for that. Prehistoric doomcocks. Wow. It rides through the jungle, tearing logs off of trees. Alley oop, boop, oop,
Poop,
oop, oop.
poop, poop.
I love that song. Genuine dinosaur. The way that guy pronounced it. Genuine dinosaur. Just like such a beatnik. I love it.
Yeah, I know. The 50s beatniks, man.
They were great.
Did they really applause by snapping? Was that true?
I don't
was that
know.
just a
It's
Happy Days thing.
It sure happens like on TV shows, but I've only obviously, well, I wasn't around at the time, but you know, when they're, you know, like that, I guess it was cooler than applauding.
What was the show that Gilligan was a beatnik in?
That was The Many Lives of Dobie Gillis, or The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis.
Yes.
Dobie. Yeah. He was a Maynard G. Krebs, I think was his name. But I could be wrong. I've never seen an episode. I just know this shit. I don't know why, but I've never actually seen an episode of
No, me neither. I just saw that Gilligan had like the little, you know, beatnik beard.
Right. Boy, he was a slacker to begin with.
He was
okay as long as you didn't get him you know, on an island, because then he'd totally screw you every time he tried to get away.
Or not. I mean, just, you know, ask Marianne.
Oh,
or Ginger.
What's wrong with him? Were you a Marianne or a Ginger guy?
Oh, Marianne.
Marianne for me.
All day long.
We are agreed.
Yes.
We are agreed. Wow. Even though Ginger was a redhead, it's just something wholesome and lovely about Marianne. That's kind of my type.
Mrs. Howell.
Well, lovey. What are you doing? Oh my God. I was right. Tito's World says Maynard G. Krebs is correct. Wow.
Nice.
I don't know how I know this shit. It's just bizarre. By the way, guys, I want to say thank you to everyone here. Please like this video. If you do indeed like this video, click that thumb up button, lick that like button, and let YouTube know, hey, we like this kind of stuff. Quit pushing them off. Damn it.
Well, yeah, they're pushing us off, especially when we're talking about this subject in particular.
Don't know
And
why.
well, like I'm sure everybody in this chat is probably spends their fair amount of time on YouTube. And when you search out stuff that we're talking about, cryptids or anything, now we're getting all this the first 5 or 10 things will be a BBC or New York Post or something on how it's debunked. And then you have to dig and find, and the debunking is questionable at best on a lot of this stuff. You're seeing some stuff happen to YouTube videos where somebody will just be giving their opinion on something and YouTube will post the Wikipedia article. Like one time when we were talking about that base in the desert that people are going to storm, YouTube put the Wikipedia of that base in the desert like there's some kind of authority on this. It's like no. It disappeared after a while, but it was there. They do that to some videos. It's weird.
It's so weird. I don't know. I don't get it. I just honestly don't get it. It doesn't have anything to. It's not political. It's not anything to do with elections. It's harmless fun, and I don't know why they are so hell bent against it. It's very peculiar.
It goes all the way back to 2016. So prior to 2016, I mean, like YouTube has changed since then, and there has a lot of good has come out of that. By the way, tons of good. Okay, let's not be wrong. We've a lot of channels have been created since 2016 that are great, but prior to that, it was really easy to find like UFO stuff. And, it was a little faster and looser, and then YouTube felt responsible for that, which in a way. It was, but it should have leaned into it. It should have been like it was a good thing because we needed an alternative to the official version of events, which I don't ever believe. So,
I don't either, Gary. Yeah. I'm skeptical about everything, frankly. I mean, people try to act like we're credulous. Look, I just keep an open mind, and I always look for evidence. And when there's just embarrassing paucity of evidence, like in Loch Ness, then I abandon it. Even if it's a treasured childhood trope that I've grown up loving, I let go of it. Yeah. But this is possible. I think that Mokele Mbembe is definitely something that could exist, and I'm very glad that I live in a world where that's true. Still. Darth Raistlin with a $5 super chat. Hail Darth Raistlin says, finally caught a live show. First time, long time. Hail Doomcock. Hail Darth Raistlin. Thank you, my friend. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the ExoZone. Hail, sir. We've got Emperor Caligula with a €5 super chat. Hail Emperor Caligula. Wow. Dude, I heard you were kind of a Randy sod. Emperor Caligula says, I read about cryptids for many years, and I came to believe they are rather astral beings rather than biological entities. That's interesting. Astral beings manifesting on our plane in unusual forms. That's a very interesting viewpoint, Emperor Caligula.
And our brain is only processing what we think we're seeing.
Possibly so. I wonder sometimes.
That's it.
I've had this idea that if here we go into an ExoZone weird zone. I wonder if the entirety of manifestation is a non-dual consciousness. A non-dual consciousness means one that is, well, to say it's unitary is a limitation of language. There would be no way to describe it because it is non-dual. It has no opposite. Therefore, you cannot say it is unitary as opposed to binary. You can't apply that label to it. But just for the sake of the imprecise nature of language, if reality is non-dual, that means there is only one consciousness pervading the entirety of it, playing all the roles, being all the props, being all the energy simultaneously. So the literal power of creation is vested in everyone and everything. Now, we don't know how to access that, but it occurs to me that, people in certain mental states, in certain conditions, might not hallucinate things like Mothman or Mokele Mbembe or UFOs, but might actually cause them to blink into existence. And I don't know if that would be a permanent thing or a temporary thing, like whether they might then, be manifested out of air, out of thin air, and then vanish back into the void from whence it came. And these things would be able to be photographed and heard and have a tangible reality, like a waking dream made manifest by the consciousness of the universe. But that doesn't mean it's consistently real.
No.
That's a theory that I've had for a while. So you can tell me I'm nuts as I take a drink.
No, that's that's deep thought. That is very deep thought that, a lot of people get paid a lot of money to do or spend a lot of time in colleges doing that, that I did when I was experimenting on hallucinogenic drugs, and listening to Art Bell. Separately.
Oh,
I mean, not at the
man.
same time, but that's the kind of stuff that he would talk about. And the biggest difference between him and George Noory, and of course, the ghost of Art Bell is with us right now. So
He is. I am always close. Because if reality is non-dual, then I actually, sir, did not go anywhere. And you boys are doing a great job manifesting my spirit over these airwaves or internet waves or whatever they're called. And I am grateful. Thank you to ExoZone. Thank you to Gary. Thank you to, I hate to say the word, but Doomcock. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Art. I love Art Bell, and to have been able to listen to him stoned, God, that would have been cool. I never have had that experience, so I don't know. 577 all well says, the old observation causes manifestation. Well,
that one again, that old trick.
And yet I have a studied and scholarly explanation as to why. I have spent, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years studying Eastern philosophy, studying the Tao, studying Vedanta, studying quantum physics and consciousness. And I have come to the conclusion, I've painted a kind of a model of the universe that, unlike a number of religious tropes, requires no faith. It requires basically analysis, and it basically poses of reality one question: is this belief filled with plot holes? Is this belief nonsense that sounds like a children's story? Well, no, it's not. I've come up with a view that is in accord. It kind of reconciles Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy, and if indeed reality is non-dual, and I absolutely at this point believe that it is, then I don't think that is an unreasonable hypothesis, given that consciousness evoked all of this in the first place, and that same consciousness would be creating these things. Now, you may be referring to the Schrodinger's cat, quantum physical thought experiment that said that observation influences reality, which is a debatable thing, but it does seem to be the case in certain instances. That's a different thing, though. Although ultimately, I guess really it's the same thing. It's essentially these unseen forces that do impact the real world, and in ways that Newtonian physics cannot really explain. So, yeah, you can say the old observation equals manifestation thing. Well, it's old, but it's also I think it has a certain degree of validity, but absolutely, I respect your view. It's just in the end, we won't know until we croak, and even then, it may not matter. You know, it may be like waking up from a dream or something. Cameron Pasha 72 says consciousness creates reality and is not limited by our beliefs about reality. That is my belief, sir. That is my belief. Although it is one consciousness, there is only one. That is my opinion out there. Thank you, Emperor Caligula. That's a fine little twisty path of consciousness you led me down, sir. You're treacherous. No wonder you're the emperor. Basil, with a $5 super chat from Canada. Hail Basil says, "Hey, look, it's a UFO. Let me get my crappiest, lowest res camera available and shake the heck out of the cam while taking the photo/video." Well,
Yes.
that's partly true. However, I myself have taken a UFO video, a couple of pictures, and they came out perfect. And they were not. The only reason that is a little blurry is because I took it from a distance with my cell phone, and then I had to blow it up, pinch the screen and take a screen grab and pinch the screen some more of that screen grab and take another screen grab because it was quite small. But I saw it, and you saw it, Gary, and it was pretty impressive.
Yes, it was. It was very impressive. And I wish I would see one. I just do someday. But I'm glad you got to see one. And
maybe you have. Have you ever woke up with your butt sore, feeling like you're missing some time and some dignity?
Every morning.
Well, somebody's in love with you out there. Now on the Starship Enterprise.
Well, they really like Whitley Strieber, that's for sure. So
they did. They loved Whitley.
Yeah.
We don't know. There was just something about his butt port that was fascinating.
Yeah, Whitley must have like I'm just sorry. I was gonna have the perfect ass.
It was better than typical butt ports. Oh yes, it was better than typical butt ports. The way I don't know, puckered. It was fascinating. Yes, it was.
I can't stop thinking about Whitley Strieber's perfect ass.
Whitley Strieber's ass is a thing of legend among Zeta Reticulans. He is always the centerfold of Whitley Strieber, the magazine.
He's like some sex symbol out there on Zeta Reticuli.
That's right.
Like
there's pinups and barracks.
It is of legend.
Yeah, poor Whitley. We need to have him on the ExoZone. You think he'll ever come on now?
Probably not.
Mr. Strieber, is there any truth to the rumor that your particular butt port is a thing of legend and beauty on Zeta Reticuli?
No comment. Oh, dude.
Nice.
Well, Basil, I may go ahead and dig up my UFO picture and show it to you later. While Gary vamps, I'd have to look for it, but it's on my computer. So
yeah,
listen, man,
I'm checking out the interstellar object that's coming through. They're calling it
a
comet from another star system, but I don't know how that's possible.
Well, do you want to go ahead and get into that before we go into Mothman real quick?
Yeah, we can. So this is very recent. This is 59 minutes ago from Science News. Now, I saw it this morning on the Facebook group, on my Facebook group. Astronomers have spotted a second interstellar object. It appears here. I can share the article actually. Now I'm thinking
that sounds great.
Let's do that real quick. This is from Science something or other. There we go. All right. So astronomers have spotted a second interstellar object. It appears to be a comet from another star system. An object that seems to be a comet from around another star system is speeding through our solar system. This comet, dubbed C2019Q4, I'm going to have to blow this up a little bit because I'm blind, so forgive. Or it's called Borisov. marks the second time that astronomers have seen an interstellar visitor on its way past the sun. Ukrainian amateur astronomers. It's always amateur astronomers.
Of course.
I mean, like, God bless these guys, man.
They're the only ones that won't keep their mouths shut.
Yep. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Okay, so Gennady Borisov spotted the comet on August 30th. In the days that followed, other astronomers took enough observations of the comet to show that, by the way, a believed comet. It's a believed comet. That is, its orbit is not bound to the sun, a telltale sign that the object is from an interstellar space, says astrophysicist. Okay, if it's not bound to the sun, if the orbit is not bound to the sun, and it's going fast enough to where it won't be bound to the sun, okay, because the sun's the gravity, I mean, it's got planets around it, entire planets. So this thing must be hauling ass if it's not going to get caught up by the sun, unless it does. I don't know. It says astrophysicist Matthew Holman. He is the interim director of the International Astronomical Union's Minor Planet Center of Cambridge. That is a mouthful. Massachusetts, which reported C2019 Q4's trajectory September 11th in a public bulletin. There have been 3 or 4 different groups that have checked the orbit and poked at it from different directions, and everybody reaches the same conclusion. But he cautions that the comet is close to the sun and low on the horizon, which makes it difficult to observe. So how do you know it's a comet?
Right.
This is an unusual thing. You always want to be extra careful when you get an answer. That's not typical, he says. They said, I think it will hold up. I think it will. The first known interstellar object, named Oumuamua, was spotted in October 2017 as it sped away from the solar system. Astronomers could only grab fleeting glimpses of Oumuamua on its way out the door. That left many theories of what the object was: an asteroid, a fluffy ice fractal, a skeleton of a comet, even an alien spaceship. But little data exists to back up any of those ideas.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
Bullshit. On the other hand, it just passed the solar system's doorstep on the trajectory that will take it between the orbits of Jupiter and Mars. It will make it the closest approach to Earth at about twice the distance between Earth and the sun on December 29th. It's going to be a nice Christmas comet, or a alien probe, possibly Christmas invasion, which Doctor Who, Christmas invasion. We'll get the 10th Doctor will save us in his pajamas. We'll be able to observe it for probably a year, which is really different from Oumuamua. Oumuamua was tracked for a short 2.5 months before it became too faint to see. Already, C2019 Q4 looks different from its predecessor. Oumuamua resembled an asteroid more than a comet, with no obvious cloud or of gases. Q is surrounded by a bright comet-like halo. Okay, by a halo. Interesting. Indicating
a halo going rum, rum, rum.
Yeah.
Rum.
Beep, beep, beep,
Like
beep.
a warp field.
It's got a Whitley detector, a Whitley streamer detector on it.
We will find that butt again.
It's indicating that it's sloughing off gas, dust, or energy. That's my opinion. The comet-like appearance is more like what astronomers expect from the first interstellar object Oumuamua was, but Bannister says comets are a type of leftover planetary building block called planetesimals. And most planetesimals form far from their stars and are therefore icy. Most stars end up losing their small planetesimals either while planets are forming or after the star dies. Well, okay. How many planets have formed and stars have died recently near us? Like none?
I don't know, but Rhino Sith Rhino Sith says, why would aliens have to create probes that are similar to asteroids or comets? Rhino Sith, don't be fooled by these artist representations. These are not photos. There are no photos of that thing except like very, very distant that show no detail. In photos, Oumuamua was red and metallic. Is that not correct?
Metallic and flipping over like it was
Cartwheeling.
Cartwheeling. It was bizarre. And you can find them. They're hard to find, but there is like telescopic footage of Oumuamua that clearly looks like it was shiny. And while it was spinning around, the reflection of the sun, it would reflect.
Right.
And listen, meteors are metallic too. They're nickel and stuff. But it looked like the freaking Galactica flipping over. And it was long and shard-like. I don't know what this one looks like, and it could be a comet. I just think it's weird that something that small can. I am again, not a scientist, but you have to be going a certain speed to be able to escape the sun's gravitational pull, which can hold planets in place at vast distances. But this thing just popped right through and then sped up later.
Yes. And the thing is that Oumuamua, it was changing trajectory.
Yep.
And it was convincing to a Harvard astronomer, a big Harvard astronomer, enough that he published a paper saying that this was likely an alien ship. So there you go. David Rayner says it's Pluto headed for Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I hope so. Pluto got me too'd by or YouTube'd by Neil deGrasse. Pluto's a planet, for Christ's sake. I don't care what they think.
I would say so. But Rhino Sith says, yes, I know. However, why would an alien race need to go to that trouble to hide themselves from us? It seems a bit too far for me to believe. The simplest explanation is generally right. My point is that they're not. That what you're seeing does not look like an asteroid.
They're not creating asteroids.
It's not. This is their spin on what it looks like. It's nothing like what it looks like. It was not a rocky, lengthy thing. We don't have any photos of what it looks like. Don't be fooled by this artist representation. There are no photographs, dude. So, they tell an artist, draw an asteroid that's long and thin, and an artist does it, and then that's what you see. They're not disguising anything, dude. That's the whole point. I just had to go ahead and
no, these are the same scientists who have been covering up forever a lot of things. Lot of things. Some are in question, some aren't. But national security. So science, a lot of scientists work for private colleges and public colleges, but all of that stuff, if you start getting into interstellar science and you start getting into areas where the government has oversight, then classification gets involved. It gets murky. So NASA covers things up. I am absolutely convinced.
Oh, they do for sure. They do. They've airbrushed stuff out of photos. They've been caught doing it. Now, I don't know that this particular thing is anything unusual, but I'm saying that a Harvard astronomer, not a wacko, a Harvard employed astronomer published a paper in a scientific journal offering scientific proof and analysis that this astronomer, what led him to believe that this was an alien craft, that there was no other explanation for it. The way that it navigated, the way it accelerated, and the way that it changed course. So if a Harvard astronomer says that, one cannot simply accept science when it fits your preconceptions. Either science is valid or science is not valid. And when an accredited, prestigious scientist says this kind of shit and you blow it off, that says more about you than about the scientist. And I'm not saying that about anyone in particular, but I'm saying, this little trope that's out there that everyone's entitled to their own beliefs and everything else. I have little patience for that. I really don't. Here's a scientist saying this. He got attacked by his fellow scientists because, of course, you get attacked anytime that you dare to stray from the orthodoxy of the period, because the high priests of science do not like that. They don't like having to edit their textbooks and, discard their cherished beliefs, right? Oh, my tubes and wires, careful notes and antiquated notions. Well, that said it all, Thomas Dolby. That said it all.
Certainly did.
Michael Maloney with a pair of super chats here. Thank you, Michael. Legionnaire Maloney with two $5 super chats says post-colonial Africa lost much of its limited infrastructure when the European powers left. Yeah, that's true. So that's why a lot of these regions still remain remote and peopled with their original, indigenous tribes.
Yep.
And so it's no surprise that Mokele Mbembe might still survive. And Michael Maloney also says he has won some painfully earned knowledge here. He says, beware of any of the new generation of Star Wars books. Yes, Michael Maloney has been writing me privately on patreon.com/Doomcock about his reading of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Black Spire. And oh my God, reading this book damn near killed Mr. Maloney. It was so bad, dude. It was so bad that I think it scarred the man for life. So yes, beware of any of these new generations of Star Wars books. A, they are woke. B, they are badly done because we live in a post-literate society, and any writer that Disney employs is going to basically sell their soul for the money.
Yeah,
and,
I listened. I listened to the Aftermath one by Wendig. Whew.
Yeah,
That was bad. Oh, it was bad.
So you can attest to the truth of what Brother Maloney is saying here.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the one with the gay Tarkin?
Yes. Well, it's got a lesbian. There's a lesbian there. I think a gay Tarkin. It's got it also has Wedge Antilles on a mission, which they couldn't have worked into the. Man, never mind. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
So basically, the whole book is gay, with Grand Muff Tarkin and Wedgie Antilles,
and
he's got a wedgie.
J.K. Rowling said we're all gay, so it's okay.
Okay. Well, okay. There you go. Good old J.K. Rowling.
Is it Holdo? Is Holdo? What now? No. There was a commander for the Empire, female commander. That was. Unless I read two of those books. That was gay. But
yeah. I'm gonna avoid joking because I could get in. I'm sensing red alert, danger, Will Robinson. So I'm not gonna. All the many jokes passing through my mind of names for this commander, I'm not gonna say. But yes, thank you, Michael Maloney. Nicholas Horton with a £5 super chat. Thank you, Nicholas. Says, hail DC, hail Gary. Did you hear about those structures discovered in the galaxy? Structures discovered in the galaxy. I know that there is something that is very regularly blocking out sunlight from one particular star, and they are hypothesizing that it must be some kind of massive structure in space, maybe some kind of Dyson sphere, or other. They have reason to believe that this thing is massive in orbiting that star, and it's orbiting at a regular speed. So it's isn't that weird?
Yeah, that is weird. And they don't have any solid theories on it, because they're observing these like little dots of light, and it's things going in front of these dots of light, and they're able to suss out the size of them from God, who knows how, being smart. And it's really bizarre.
I'd be interested in looking at that article. I may look at that at some point if I can figure out how to pull it up. But let us go ahead and get to Mothman.
Yes.
Let's dance with who brung us, and let's go ahead and pull up Mothman. So, what is Mothman? How did Mothman come to be? What's the story with Mothman? Well, so this happened in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, in the '60s. Okay, and it has persisted for decades. This thing was so sensational. It happened the first time on November 12th of 1966 in Clendenin, West Virginia, when this is kind of cool. A gravedigger spotted something strange in the cemetery. So he was going ahead about his business as a gravedigger when he glanced up from his work digging a grave because something huge soared over his head. A incredibly huge figure that was flying rapidly across the cemetery from tree to tree. And he described the figure initially as a brown human being. Well, this is the first sighting of the creature that would become labeled the Mothman. It is an elusive thing, widely celebrated now by the town it terrorized for a brief period. And nobody has cracked the mystery of what this thing could have been. Now, just after about 3 days after his initial sighting in Point Pleasant, which is not far away, a couple of couples noticed a gray-winged figure about 6 or 7 feet tall standing in front of the car they were all seated in. Roger Scarberry and Steve Mallett told the Point Pleasant Register at the time that the beast had bright red eyes about 6 inches apart, a wingspan of about 10 feet, and seemed to avoid the headlights of the car. This creature, according to these witnesses, could fly at incredible speeds, perhaps as much as 100 miles an hour, one of the men reported to the paper, though they all did concur that it was rather inept and clumsy running on the ground. Now, they knew about this, the creature's abilities, because they were allegedly running from it. This Mothman, this thing, chased their car to the outskirts of town, flying in the air, coming down, scuttling. And when it passed out of town, this thing went ahead and retreated to a nearby field and disappeared. So the witnesses of the time insisted that this thing was not a figment of his imagination. He said, if I had seen it while by myself, I wouldn't have said anything. But there were 4 of us who saw it. So the newspaper of record, the Point Pleasant Register, was skeptically calling Mothman a bird and a mysterious creature. Though they did print the description from Mallett that it was like a man with wings. But as time passed, more sightings were reported in the Point Pleasant area over the period of a year, this next year, and thus the legend of the Mothman took form. The Gettysburg Times reported 8 additional sightings in the short span of 3 days following these initial claims. And the witnesses included a couple of volunteer firefighters who saw what they described as a very large bird with large red eyes. One sighting from Newell Partridge, a Salem, West Virginia resident, spoke of strange patterns that appeared on his television screen one evening, followed by a weird sound outside his house. Going out and shining a flashlight, seeking the direction of the noise, Partridge supposedly witnessed 2 red eyes resembling bicycle reflectors glaring back at him from the darkness. This anecdote is a popular one in the Mothman story. especially because it resulted in the disappearance of Partridge's dog, supposedly a victim of the fearsome creature. Now, there are biologists in West Virginia, one of them, Dr. Robert Smith, who has tried to dismiss the notion of this flying monster as a sandhill crane, which stands almost as tall as the average adult man, has bright red flesh around its eyes. And this explanation compelled people because, of the description of the creature as bird-like. But I don't know, Gary. I mean, I ask you, if you, first of all, I don't think that this crane can travel as fast as they're saying. Second of all, if you had the time and you were terrorized and you were being chased down the road out of town by this thing, I mean, who's going to be fooled by a bird? Really? Would you? I mean, I'd look and I'd say, "Oh shit, that's a big crane." What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah, I wouldn't have time to figure. Well, I'm going to figure this out. No. The Mothman's been a weird one, man. It's been, the funny thing is I saw this, that was like one of the first things when I moved up here. God, when did that movie come out? 2002, 2003?
Yeah, somewhere in that region.
Yeah, that was like our first, Melissa and I went on a date to go see that movie because that's what we like to go see. Richard Gere. But I don't know. That one I don't know. There's other things I believe about it, but I don't know about that.
Well, it's a very strange thing. Necklord 88 in the chat says there's a video on YouTube called the Lacerta Files, supposedly an interview with a female reptilian alien. Even if it's fake, she does say some very interesting things. Interesting. Wow, I have to check that out. The Lacerta Files, huh? Well, I'm going to pop that into my browser here so I can inspect it at a later date. I think that, that might be a future ExoZone for us. Yeah, that's interesting. But I was going to say that the Mothman, one of the weird things is that it bears a more than a passing resemblance to archetypes of demons found among those who have experienced sleep paralysis, which leads some to believe that the visions are nothing more than an embodiment of typical subconscious human fears pulled from the depths of the unconscious and grafted onto real life bird or animal sightings when people panic. And yet, again, it's a crane is a fucking bird. And why did this stuff happen in a kind of a flurry of sightings and then go away? And then of course there's the incident of the Silver Bridge collapse, Gary.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is kind of a capper of the thing. So on December 15th, 1967, about a year after the first Mothman sighting, traffic was pretty bad on this Silver Bridge. It was built in 28 to connect Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Gallipolis, Ohio. And it was unusually congested with cars. Now, it had been built in a time when cars were, not as heavy. The Model T, for example, weighed only 1,500 pounds as compared to the 1967 average car, which weighed about 4,000 pounds. So the engineers of this bridge had not really anticipated the differential of weight that the future would bring. And they didn't really build in redundancy into the design of the bridge. So if one part failed, there was nothing in place to prevent other parts from failing as well in a cascade failure that would theoretically possibly topple the bridge. And that cold December day, that's exactly what happened. Without any previous warning, a single eye bar close to the top of the bridge, closer to Ohio, cracked. The chain snapped, and the bridge fell to pieces, plunging cars and pedestrians into the icy waters of the Ohio River below. 46 died or drowned or were crushed. It was the second terrible and bizarre thing to put Point Pleasant on the map in a year.
Mhm.
And in 1975, author John Keel in the Mothman Prophecies conflated the Mothman sightings and the bridge disaster, as well as UFO activity in the area. So this story has kind of taken hold and resulted in the legend of the Mothman. There was also the 2002 movie with Richard Gere
Yes.
that women dragged men to go see. And
Yes.
and there you go. So you've seen the movie
Yeah.
and you've heard it. So you're basically a skeptic on this one.
I've seen it. I heard the only thing that's Richard Keel seems I don't know. He was an investigator. He again conflated a lot of things, but there is again, I remember researching it at the time. And like looking up the voicemail, like there's supposed to be some recording of the Mothman's voice, according to the film. And when I walked out of it, it was a great story, and that's why I've always said, whether you believe this stuff or not, if you're like a writer, you're looking for ideas, listen to Art Bell, listen to old Art Bell tapes. Man, you'll get creepy ass stories no matter what. And I walked out of it just thinking the only thing that has got me thinking that I believe it a little more is Skinwalker Ranch. Cause it when I started hearing about Skinwalker Ranch, cause it was just too bizarre. Like a sentient Mothman that could leave voicemails and shit. I'm like, what?
Has a phone card.
Yeah. And a voice recording anyway. And, it's a tough one to believe, but there was a lot of weird stuff going on prior to the bridge collapsing. There was weird stuff going on in this town. And I would have taken a better story out of it anyway. I would have you could have made the Mothman like a cursed guy and he has to like sacrifice 46 people or something to get out of his curse or something. That's what I would have done with the Mothman. But it's weird. I don't know on this one. I just don't know. It's tough because they have a statue there though. I mean, there's much lore. There's a statue in this town of the Mothman. That's kind of cool.
David Rayner in the chat says Richard Keel was the Mothman.
Yes.
So there you go. Thank you, David. Basil says Art Bell was cool. Nori is basically just nodding in agreement to get his huge paychecks. Yeah,
Nori's a fraud. Nori's a freaking fraud. If go watch Zora Stargate videos of Gaia, for some reason they get Gaia videos and they play little clips of Beyond Belief, and George is interviewing these great people, and he's got like Michael Barra on talking about structures on Mars, and Michael Barra will like describe the structures on Mars, and George where Art Bell would have followed up, well, do you believe these structures were, ancient technology of humans that later came to Earth? Or do you think they were an alien race that were warring with each other and possibly destroyed each other? And maybe that explains the asteroid field. No, George Nuri goes, that's neat. That's how he follows things up. He goes, that's neat.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit. I cannot. Yeah, I've listened to that show in a long, long time. D Lunar Fox says Babar was the Mothman. Babar, isn't that charming? Maybe it's Clifford, the big red dog, in a disguise for Halloween. Yeah. Clifford's Halloween. I used to have that book as a kid. Yeah.
The movie wasn't. The movie made it. They conflated is a good word. They put a lot of things together that weren't really right time-wise for dramatic effect. And it really that's what I was disappointed about when I got out and I started looking into it. I'm like, wait, that didn't happen before the bridge. It
was not an accurate account. It was not a documentary.
No.
It was a Hollywood bullshit thing with Richard Gere.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It should have been the gerbil man.
Oh dear, oh dear.
We find that fascinating. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Maybe the aliens would abduct him if they knew about the gerbil.
Oh, that's why we didn't, because gerbils have been there before we are.
Taboligo, where no gerbil has gone before.
Hello from Colombia. Hail Doomcock, says JC. Hail Colombia. How awesome, man. Colombia. Welcome to the show.
Like the country? That's where Doomcock gets his packages. Oh, I'm sorry.
Con burro.
Yes.
Por favor. But thank you for that, sir. Welcome from Colombia.
I know it wasn't a documentary, but it was billed as based on true events.
I know
that not necessarily in this order.
Exactly.
I liked the movie. I did. I walked out of there going, that was pretty good. I thought it was good.
It's just not my bag.
Great, but
yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I liked him in Chicago. I thought Chicago was a great musical, Richard Gere, but in general, I don't seek out Richard Gere movies.
For a musical, that was a good movie.
It was. Damn, the staging was outstanding. Anyway, Eli McInnes with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Eli. Says, you guys should check out Mount Yowies and Bunjips, Australians' version of Bigfoot. Wow. Mount Yowies. That's kind of weird. Mount Yowies. I'm going to see if I can pull up something about that.
We've got Sasquatch and Yowie and the abominable snowman. Can we just decide on one name? It's just a big hairy guy who's really hard to find.
Yeah, maybe. Yowie is one of several names for an Australian folklore entity reputed to live in the outback. Creature has its roots in Aboriginal oral history in parts of Queensland. They're known as Quinkin or Jugabina in parts of New South Wales. They are called Gindaring, Jurawara, Mingawan, Putikan, Dulaga, Gulaga, Thulagal, Yaroma, Nukuna. Boy, they got a lot of names. So Yowie type creatures are common in basically Aboriginal.
They're naming, those are individuals they're naming.
That's right.
No, that was Balaga and his brother Yalaga and his second cousin Babaga and very distant cousin Mokele Mbembe. No, they were naming them individually.
It's the class of
yes.
I remember the class of it was very good.
Very good. The thing is, though, the serious thing is, again, cultures from across the planet for years that weren't in contact with each other prior to this have these legends. So we're all just making up the same shit, or maybe we're actually seeing something. I don't know.
I don't know. They're usually described like kind of like big feet. Although bigger actually in Australia, but everything's bigger in Australia. A hairy ape-like creature standing between 6'11" and maybe 12 feet tall. So holy shit.
Well, that's a big difference of about 5 feet.
Yeah, that's huge. Yowie's feet much larger than a human, so they all big feet. But their tracks are inconsistent in shape and toe number. Well, some of them need orthotics and, have bad, they get caught in traps and stuff and lose toes, it happens. But they're more varied than those of Bigfoot, and their nose is described as wide and flat. And they vary in temperament in that class that you just cited, Gary. Some are timid, some are violent and aggressive. Yeah, in an account from the 19th century, 1842, it says, the natives of Australia believe in Yowie. This being they describe as resembling a man of nearly the same height, with long white hair hanging down from the head over the features. The arms are extraordinarily long, furnished at the extremities with great talons, and the feet turned backwards, so that on flying from man, the imprint of the foot appears as if the being had traveled in the opposite direction. Altogether, they describe it as a hideous monster of an earthly character, an ape-like appearance. Now, and the Aborigines say that the Yowie is a part of the dream time. Ah, very interesting. Yeah, of the dream time. I think that's fascinating. That's kind of harkening back to our, smoking dogs in trench coats. It's Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, and somebody brought up ethereal beings. Again, we can get into consciousness, and if something is entering our existence that's not from this existence and is from either another dimension or some other place that we cannot comprehend, that our brain tries to comprehend it as best as possible.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And even Apex Tyrannus here, who is a supremely rational fellow, says, this is why I believe in the possibility of Bigfoot. It has over a century of history worldwide, just like UFOs. Absolutely. I agree with that very much. A nutter says, can't believe I tuned in an hour and a half late. Apologies. Much love to Gary Doomcock. Thanks for hosting, Harvey.
You're welcome, pal. Welcome to the club. Glad you made it.
Absolutely. Yowies are called with a didgeridoo, says Dave Bob. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe they come dancing. Dreamtime is the imaginal world of the Sufis, says Kamran Pasha 72. And he also says long arms is a consistent description of Sasquatch. So there you go. Very interesting. So these big feet are all over the place. Thank you, Eli McInnes, for that. Basil says, bunyips sound so cute and cuddly. They do. But if they're Bigfoots, you might run up against one of the timid ones or one of the aggressive and violent ones. So you never know. Maybe it just depends on what mood they're in. How the recent job interview went or something. It's possible. You might catch them on an off day, Basil. And if you did, you would not want to, my friend. Thank you for the $2 Canadian super chat, Basil. And I'm sorry that so far Red Monarch has not appeared. Damn. Usually when you say his name 3 times, he does. Cracklin with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Cracklin, says Nerdcock, Doomrotic. Wanted to tell you a story about a Bigfoot sighting from my youth at an Indian grave, but apparently the story is too long. Oh, that's too bad, man. Send it to us. You can send it to Gary's email. My email is dictorvandoomcock@gmail.com. We love to relay things like that on the ExoZone. So, Gary, why don't you hand out your address as well?
Gary@nerdrotic.com.
So that's simple. So, Cracklin, go ahead and send us that, and we'd be happy to review that in the future, dude. So sorry, the regular chat, it just won't, I guess it won't accommodate certain lengths of stuff, but man, we'd love to hear it. Absolutely. A sighting from your youth at an Indian grave. Wow. That might reveal some interesting details that could help us out a lot. Jason Green with a $5 super chat. Hail, Jason. Says, sometimes at night, I'll see a quick flash of blue light like lightning. I live out in the country away from traffic and lights. Any ideas? Well, there was that barrage of blue light, lightning exploding at various sites around the world. I can't remember exactly where that was, Gary. Was it in Russia or something? But it was not accompanied by thunder. And in this case, it was like a kind of a barrage of these like explosions of blue light. But no explanation has been forthcoming. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yes, I do. And we talked about that, and
Yeah.
people had talked to stories, and I had seen something like that even in it was called sheet lightning to me, but I saw it in South Dakota, and it was bizarre because there was no rain involved or sound or anything. It was just the clouds lighting up. So yeah,
Very strange.
very strange. Very strange.
But Jason, yeah, man, I don't know. It could, a quick flash of blue light. It could be lots of things, but it also could be UFOs, I don't know if some of them might, flash when they cloak. There's definitely cloaked UFOs at night. There's no doubt about it. Hell, there's cloaked ones during the day as well. So, yeah, you sometimes they show up in certain photographic circumstances at certain angles. Which makes sense. I mean, if they're bending light, then, it might be just relative to the viewer. It would be very difficult to see, not entirely completely invisible, but definitely obscured. Thank you very much, Jason Green. Good to see you, sir. Sinovorath 653 with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Sinovorath. Says, whenever I look at certain landscapes, especially the ocean, I like to imagine a giant monster standing there just going about its business. Inspiration I wish I had for writing again. Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Sometimes I've actually looked out at water and wished that I saw some head come up, or looked out in the forest and wished I saw a shadowy shape moving among the trees that could have been Bigfoot. But I never have. I've never seen anything like that, Gary. Have you ever seen Bigfoot at all, or any evidence at all?
No. And I've been out there quite a bit when I was younger. I did a lot of camping up in Northern California. Nothing.
That's a shame. But, it may happen one day. But I you know what, Sinovarath 653, if you've got the imagination for that, you absolutely should be writing again. I think, I think that writing is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. And I think you just have to sit down and take a crack at it. Don't be afraid to do it. Give it a shot and step up to the plate. And, you might surprise yourself cranking out something really, really great. Give yourself that chance. Hail Sinovarath 653, and thank you for being here on the ExoZone, buddy. Josiah Clinch with a $15 super chat. Thank you, Josiah, very, very much. He says,
let's talk about the HC Burgers conspiracy. He is stealing Angus beef patties as 100%, but there are 75% soy. Gary, why he tried to bump me off. DC is the missing part too.
Uh-oh. Yes, Josiah Clinch has been talking about Harvey Cthulhu has a chain of burgers now, just called Harvey's, and they're up in Canada. And apparently Josiah claims that Harvey is trying to peddle Angus beef patties at 100% of Angus beef at his stores in Canada. But Josiah is claiming that they're 75% soy. So Harvey, have you got anything to say about that?
No comment.
So is this your chain?
No comment, dude. Move on.
Is this your...
I said no fucking comment. Move on. I'll close this thing down.
Boy, Josiah, I think you touched a nerve, buddy. I think you touched a nerve. Can you imagine? Could this be a plot from Harvey Cthulhu to try and pawn off 75% soy burgers onto the public to what? Weaken the men for an ultimate invasion? Hey, Harvey?
I can neither confirm nor deny this allegation. Back to you, Chet, you son of a bitch. Shut up, Josiah. Ixnay on the Urger Bays. Ukfe Uye. Oziah J. Back to you.
Back to you.
Well, all right. He hasn't said anything, so we're going to move on. Duke Leto from Arrakis, Dune Desert Planet, with a $4.99 super chat. Hail Duke Leto. Oh, I just lost I lost it. It moved on me. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Duke Leto says, hey guys, do you have a favorite cryptid? Mine is definitely the Wendigo. Also, do you guys know of any cool paranormal and cryptid channels? Well, my favorite cryptid is probably Mokele Mbembe, just because I would dearly love to have a dinosaur in the Congo. But I don't know. What do you think, Gary? What's your favorite?
My favorite what?
Cryptid
My favorite cryptid is Bigfoot by far.
by
Bigfoot.
far.
It was the Loch Ness monster, but there's still Bigfoot stuff out there. But I have to kind of believe in my cryptid to be a favorite. So yeah, it's Bigfoot. I know it's kind of basic and on the nose, but that's my favorite.
Well, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's totally legitimate. And he asked, do you guys know of any cool paranormal and cryptid channels? Oh, there's a bunch of them. You know,
I don't know. I have a favorite. I just
I guess Secure Team 10, although that's not a cryptid, but it is paranormal to the
he'll
extent
cover
of
it. Yeah.
UFOs.
I don't have there's no channel that's grabbed me to being my favorite crypto. There's a bunch I'll go to randomly, but there isn't one that stands out to me yet. If you guys have a recommendation, I'm willing to listen.
Absolutely. Totally. The chat is very knowledgeable about these things. So pay attention in the chat here. And Chupacabra. The Chupacabra. That's awesome. Yes. Thank you for reminding us of the Chupacabra. What is the Matrix? Who asks, why do the Chupacabras get no love? Racism? Huh? We've been accused. Mr. Naual 2099 says there's a Nessie-like cryptid in a South American lake called Nahuelito. Interesting. Wow. Now that is cool. That is cool. Dilbertson says, I told you Harvey is not to be trusted. Oh, Dilbertson, how right you are not to trust Harvey. God bless you for being a voice of sanity in these times where there's so many cultists of Harvey running around. The Wendigo, for those of you who don't know, it may be corporeal or spiritual. It depends, but essentially it eats people, and it is a spirit. It is said to be an evil spirit that is found in the northern forests of Nova Scotia, the Great Lakes region of Canada, the Atlantic coast. It may appear as a monster with some characteristics of humans, or as a spirit who has possessed a human being and made them become monstrous. It is typically associated with greed, with murder, and all sorts of chicanery and monkey shines. Now, the Wendigo has been incorporated into a modern medical term of some controversy, Wendigo psychosis, which is described by psychiatrists as a cultural syndrome with symptoms including craving for human flesh, fear of becoming a cannibal. That's kind of weird. I didn't know that there was such a dysfunction that it would even have a specific name associated with it, other than weirdo or creep.
Yeah.
But the Wendigo, according to a Basil H. Johnston, who was a Ojibwe teacher and scholar from Ontario, says the Wendigo was gaunt to the point of emaciation, its desiccated skin pulled tightly over its bones. With its bones pushing out against its skin, its complexion the ash gray of death, and its eyes pushed back deep into their sockets, the Wendigo looked like a gaunt skeleton recently disinterred from the grave. What lips it had were tattered and bloody. Unclean and suffering from suppuration of the flesh, the Wendigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay and composition, of death and corruption. Wow. That's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
In Ojibwa Cree and Swampy Cree Naskapi Innu lore, They are described, these Wendigos, frequently as giants, many times larger than human beings. And whenever a Wendigo eats a human, it grows proportionally to the meal it's just eaten, which means that the Wendigo could never be full. So they are basically known as simultaneously gluttonous and extremely thin due to starvation. They can never get enough, as Depeche Mode says. I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. So there you go. They're constantly looking to kill people to consume new victims. Now it's said that human beings who succumbed to overpowering greed could turn into Wendigos. So this alleged myth has served as a method of encouraging cooperation and moderation, kind of as a moral lesson, an after-school special amongst the Cree, the Ojibwa, and the Innu. So yeah, it's pretty weird, and I'll wrap up the chapter here on Wendigos with a 1661 account of Wendigo psychosis. What caused us greater concern was the intelligence that met us upon entering the lake, namely that the men deputed by our conductor for the purpose of summoning the nations to the North Sea and assigning them a rendezvous where they were to await our coming had met their death the previous winter in a very strange manner. These poor men, according to the report given us, were seized with an ailment unknown to us, but not very unusual among the people we were seeking. They are afflicted with neither lunacy, hypochondria, nor frenzy, but have a combination of all these species of disease which affects their imagination and causes them a more than canine hunger. This makes them so ravenous for human flesh that they pounce upon women, children, and even upon men like veritable werewolves and devour them voraciously without being able to appease or glut their appetite, ever seeking fresh prey. And the more greedily, the more they eat. This ailment attacked our deputies, and as death is the sole remedy among those simple people for checking such acts of murder, they were slain in order to stay the course of their madness.
Dang. I got some breaking news here. This is of the YouTube variety. I'm sorry to break in here, but this is big news. This was something I was going to talk about. YouTuber PewDiePie did something very disappointing yesterday to me.
Right.
He's always been a fighter in the culture war, and he decided to bow out. That is one thing. I have no problem with him doing personally. If you've had enough and you want to bow out, that's fine. No problem. But on his way out the door, decided to bend the knee to YouTube and the powers that be and take responsibility for something he had no responsibility in. We won't mention, but you know what the incident was. And listen, it weighed on him heavily, and it shouldn't have, because he had nothing to do with it. So he made a mistake going out the door and made a $50,000 donation to the Anti-Defamation League. Don't believe the title. That is a league that wants to suppress your speech and wants to silence YouTube content creators on here on this platform, including PewDiePie. So he made a donation, which was basically a day's worth of YouTube wages for him. Yes, he makes up $40,000 to $50,000 a day. He's withdrawn that. He's withdrawn it. So I guess yesterday he got a lot of, as a matter of fact, I'll be honest with you, I unsubscribed to him yesterday. Now, I don't want him to disappear. I don't want him to be deplatformed. I like PewDiePie. I supported him during the whole subscribe to PewDiePie. I supported him after that incident. He had nothing to do with it. That's the same BS that says video games cause violence. It's bull crap. So according to Variety, at 2:18 p.m., top YouTuber PewDiePie withdraws $50,000 pledge to Anti-Defamation League, calls it a mistake. Good. Glad he did it. I'll resubscribe to him. And again, he doesn't have to be in the fight anymore. That's not, I wish him all the luck in the world doing the Minecraft stuff, and it's not anything I'm going to watch, but I mean, And listen, again, you know, him being married and being successful and wanting to bow out of the culture war, God, don't blame him at all. Nobody wants to do this thing forever. I get it. And I just wouldn't have made a donation that to a group that wants to silence Doomcock, that wants to silence me, that wants to silence, you know, Tim Pool. I totally agreed with Tim Pool's stance on this. And you know, Jeremy made a video, both Jeremys made a video, and I agree with their videos. Again, wish him all the luck in the world. I truly do. That's sincere. I wish he hadn't have done that. I am glad he withdrew it. He's going to get tons of shit, so we got to back him up on this one. So I'm backing you again, buddy. I got you. Not that he needs me at all, but like, I'm glad people make mistakes. I make them daily. Doomcock does not, but he is an evil genius. But I do. And I just wanted to say, I mean, it's very un-ExoZone, but I'm glad he did that. It's all good, Pewds. I'm going through the article. He's going to get so much shit for this. Poor guy. F the mainstream media. F the mainstream media. F you for making this poor kid feel responsible for what happened in New Zealand. F you. He was not responsible. Just because somebody invokes his name or my name. Listen, I'll tell you right now, somebody invokes my name, I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not going to feel bad because I didn't do it. I'm not, listen, I clearly disavow anybody doing violence against anybody ever. I'll state the obvious. I'm also against killing overall. I mean, I think it's generally bad. I think breathing is good and you should drink water. It's very good. It's very obvious statements here. We've gotten so weird as a society, but yeah, sorry, Doomcock, but I thought that was something worth bringing up because it just popped up right now. So
yep,
it's
just the whole thing is bizarre.
The ADL is not our friend. They are not our friends. Don't believe their titles. You know, nobody's for defamation. Okay, I'm very anti-defamation myself, but I think
of course
part of defamation is silencing people who just simply have different opinions. And seriously, silencing PewDiePie. What extreme thing has he ever done? And the video game kerfuffle was nothing compared to what I've seen on YouTube from both sides. So they just wanted to take down one of the bigger YouTubers. And listen, you know, I'm sure it affected him, but because he's young, you know. So, but he's very successful, the ultimate YouTuber, and yeah, I think he really, you know, he made that donation. I think yesterday a lot of stuff went down. I didn't check his social blade, but I doubt it got hit that much. He was getting like Doomcock. He was getting 35,000 subscribers a day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's incredible. So
yeah. Well, it goes to show you how well you could succeed back in the old days before YouTube started moderating how successful you could be. It's kind of interesting, you know.
If he would have kept that donation, he would have been protected by YouTube, protected by the mainstream media. All of a sudden, he was getting written up. The quartering at Jeremy pointed out, like, for the first time ever, he was trending on Twitter. But then, you know, there was the backlash, and apparently his Reddit like went nuts, and yeah, it was a big deal.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you for the breaking news. And I'm sure as the story develops, we will be following it.
Yep.
It's a bizarre story. It's really weird.
Everything is bizarre from the main you want to talk about conflation. Oh, God damn. That's what we fight every day. But back to the ExoZone, back to the weird stuff. Really weird stuff.
We've got Purple Lady has sent me a tweet saying, don't forget about the forgotten story of the Cornish owl man of Monan Smith that terrorized the village and scared off holiday makers. Wow. Interesting. I will have to check out that link you sent me, Purple Lady. I appreciate that very much. Bionic Belly Button with a $5 super chat. Thank you, my dear Bionic Belly Button, who says, thank you for the ASMR, Nerdrotic and Doomcock. This is an epic ExoZone, butt ports as a thing of beauty. Hugs for Harvey. You're too cute to resist.
Thank you very much, Bionic Belly Button, and you're not so bad yourself. Ha cha cha cha.
I felt like I owed her some ASMR. I did.
Yeah.
By the way, I owe you super chat square up. I meant to do that yesterday for the Inquisition. That's going to happen within the next 24 hours. Somehow, some way, I will make it happen. But it's going to happen because
Sounds good.
Meant to do it yesterday, but then I was on some other I was on Jeremy's live stream. That went 4 hours. So,
Thank you very much. And yeah, that's good to know. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Bionic Belly Button. ASMR. I may just have to go ahead and do more of that.
you should.
People might enjoy that. I don't
They-
know.
they
I don't
really
I don't
do.
get it.
There's
But,
Doomcock. There's channels with millions of subscribers that like rub brushes against the microphone and talk like this, but it's usually like very pretty girls.
Well, shit. Maybe I'll put on a wig. We'll do drag for millions of subs. Porter Stanley with a $19.99 super chat. Hail Porter Stanley, who says, you see that Den of Nerds made a video and name dropped you? What shills? No, I did not see that Den of Nerds made a video and name dropped me. So were they taking a shot, I would assume, or were they probably taking a shot? I don't know.
Probably taking a shot.
Probably so. But no, I
Yeah.
did not see that, Porter Stanley. So I don't know. I never pay attention to that. I really don't. I just don't care. People, that's the thing about being fastest gunslinger in the West, and then every idiot comes into town trying to see if they can shoot you, and you just can't be bothered.
That's different from the Den of Geeks.
Right.
Okay. I need to make the distinction.
Yeah, Den of Geeks is legitimate. I don't know Den of Nerds, so I don't know if they were taking a shot or whatever.
Sussing them out right now.
But Porter Stanley, thank you for being here. It says what shills. So obviously they were attacking.
How come they hide their subscriber count? Oh no, they don't. Okay, never mind. I was mistaken. They have 96.5 subscribers to Denver. I've seen them before. Yeah, I hope they're not taking a shot at my friend Doomcock.
Yeah.
That would not be advisable.
Well, probably not.
No.
Probably not. Might be worth it to slap them around if they did.
Like I've said before, generally when people take shots at other YouTubers, it has everything to do with traction and nothing to do with the content.
Right.
Yep.
Almost always.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Porter Stanley. Best time is now with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says, hey guys, will both of you come to Manhattan in October? Looking forward to a meetup. Are you going to?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Mrs. I don't know if I can make this or not, but there's an Expanse premiere on the 5th.
Oh,
they're premiering New Terra on the 5th. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm going to New York Comic Con. I'm a trusted member of the press, believe it or not. I'm getting in on press passes.
very nice.
Yes.
Well, I don't have any plans on going to Manhattan in October. I'd like to, but geez, that would be very expensive, and yeah, I don't have any plans to do it. So
yeah, it's going to be pricey as hell. Yeah,
it's going to be expensive. And if I did go, I don't know how I would. I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll think about it. Best time is now. Thank you very much. So Gary will be there. I doubt I will, but shit, I would like to go to New York. I've always wanted to go and spend some time there. So who can say? Maybe I'll think about it. Thank you. Best time is now. Apex Tyrannus with a $10 super chat. Hail Apex Tyrannus, who says, Doomcock, it was Dr. Avi Loeb, head of Harvard Astronomy, who published that article about Oumuamua. Whatever they are, we are looking for them now more because they have figured out how to. Like planets, solar systems exchange material also. Thank you, Apex Tyrannis. Dr. Avi Loeb, head of Harvard Astronomy, was the one who published the article about Oumuamua being an alien spaceship. So, yeah, it sounds like a serious guy to me, Gary.
It does. It always that was such a weird thing, and I'm not going to let it go. And I don't think you are either, because I thought that was something changing trajectory. And that's a sign of intelligence. It's there, and I'm glad a Harvard professor was brave, and he caught so much shit for Oumuamua for that paper, and he's still catching shit, and he's standing his ground. So good for him.
Excellent. Thank you, Apex Tyrannus. Appreciate that. Man Samsung, weeping like a willow, with an $8 super chat. Thank you, Man Samsung. He says, I know it's off topic. I took your advice about The Expanse, and it rocks. Yes, it does, Man Samsung. I love The Expanse. I have been shouting from the highest rooftop about The Expanse for a long, long time, and I'm praying to God that come this fall, they will go ahead and release it 1 week at a time so that we can boost it. I doubt they will, but I'm glad, sir, that you have gotten on board while the getting's good. For God's sakes, you got to see it. Get on it. Get on board the Expanse train. It is one of the best damn shows on television without fail. Thank you, Man Samsung. Mr. V with 2. I think they are Hungarian, Czechoslovakian francs or farthings or frankfurters. I don't know, but there's 2 of them. Thank you, Mr. V. Says Bill Burr's Paper Tiger on Netflix. Must watch. Yes, yep. I heard that yet another comedian had followed Dave Chappelle into battle.
Oh, Bill Burr. Yeah.
Was very, very, very good. So I'm looking forward to that. And I will be checking it out as soon as possible, Mr. V. Thank you very, very much. Salad King with a $4.99 super chat. Hail Salad King, who says, hail all. Lord Doomcock, if I must ask, is there a Lady Doom blank? The equivalent of Doomcock. Cock, of course, being a rooster, but I don't know the equivalent of Doom C. No Lady Doom C. Just me and the robots and Harvey and a bunch of Legionnaires. Although some of the female Legionnaires have been known to wander into my private chambers late at night. Because those chickies I don't always screw, but when I do, I prefer those chickies. So there you go, Salad King. Thank you, my friend, and welcome to the ExoZone. Logan Michael Anti-Funko Pops with a $2.99 super chat, who says, pop gay.
Yeah.
So he's not really, or maybe he is. Maybe it's a positive view of anti-Funko Pops. Although he says anti-Funko Pops, so it seems to be a pejorative that he's employing. But regardless, Logan Michael, anti-Funko Pops, hail and God bless you, sir, for that. Michelle P., one of my Legionnaires, with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Michelle P. Says wampum for Harvey. Hail ExoZone and hail Bigfoot. Hail Bigfoot. Hail Michelle P. Hail ExoZone. Harvey, you got some wampum from Michelle P.
Thank you very much, Michelle P. You're one of Doomcock's darlings, aren't you?
Yeah, she is.
Hey, she should be a Harvey darling instead. Come over to the green side. It's much greener over here. You know what I mean? Like the grass is always greener. You know what I'm saying? Ha-cha-cha-cha.
You are an eldritch abomination, Harvey.
Abomination.
I just don't know why women, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. The female mind, I just can't grasp how they would tolerate such a monstrosity. But apparently they like him. Thank you, Michelle P. Very, very much. Well hung in dung with a £5 super chat. Hail, well hung in dung, who says, Doomcock and Gary, if you were both stranded on a desert island for 5 years, which one of you would end up being the lady? Well,
not me.
I got to tell you, well hung in dung, the lady is going to be the waist-high knot hole in the coconut tree?
5 years is not that. If you know anything about my past, no.
Yeah, it's not, first of all, according to your premise, to last 5 years, there would have to be enough food on the island to sustain us, which means a variety of things that can be ladyfied, the lime isn't the only thing you put in the coconut. They put the lime in the coconut. Drank it all up. Put the lime in the coconut, and something else went in there. Said the
Something else. Yeah, no, for one, it would have to be longer for 5 years, and Doomcock would probably build a lady. And
yes, out of
and,
stone knives and bear skins.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, he used your footage, man. I mean, listen, that's okay. People use my footage all the time, so it's fine. I don't know what the context is, though. Somebody shot it to me. You people are good. Whoever the hell's out there, man, you're fast. Yeah, so it's good. I mean, you're being talked about. That means you're being relevant.
Very well.
There you go.
Well, thank you, Well Hung in Dung, for that very twisted question.
Yeah, well, from Well Hung in Dung, it's probably appropriate.
It's appropriate.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what are you going to expect? Yes. What are you going to expect? Apex Tyrannus says in the chat, Doomcock, have you seen the 1970s Army Corps of Engineers that states Bigfoot is real and with size and weights? Also says the FBI has a DNA sample proving he is an unknown ape. Seriously. That is weird. I've not Apex Tyrannus. If you could shoot me a link to that at dictorvandoomcock@gmail.com, I'd love to see that. That would be fun. That would be a very cool thing to call out in a future episode.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Paul Weber with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Paul. Says, thanks for hosting, Harvey. It would be sweet and everything to see a cryptid, but what I really want to see is Harvey outside his containment field.
Yeah, see?
No, Paul Weber, you do not want to see Harvey outside his containment field, because that would be the last thing that you would ever see. It's kind of like a great white shark in the wild. I sure would like to see a great white shark charging up at me like on the cover of Jaws. Well, yeah, but it'd be the last thing you'd see. So, you gotta think about stuff like that. You gotta think about stuff like that before you sow those things, Paul. But I tell you, I've got a video coming out probably tomorrow. It may make me want to go ahead and push the button. It's kind of like thinking about, the more I think about it, the angrier it gets me. So stay tuned for that. It may even make me move the hands on the Harvey clock up from 2 minutes to Harvey. So we'll see.
Yeah, there's like 4 subjects out there right now that could be button worthy.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. Remind me after the show. We got to talk about, I have an idea for the Inquisition.
Excellent.
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. We will talk. Psycho Dwarf 9 with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my Legionnaire, Psycho Dwarf 9. And by the way, I received your manuscripts today. They are safe with me, Psycho Dwarf 9. He says, 650 guests, 7 rooms, still at work. Oh, this poor guy, man. He works in catering, and Jesus Christ, 650 guests and 7 rooms, brother. And you bothered to be here. You are truly a mensch. You are a Legionnaire. You are a kick-ass fandom menace warrior, sir. I hope it goes well. Let me know how it goes. And I'm glad to hear that your friend is recovering. Good luck, brother. That's scary. Disabled Llama with an Australian $2 super chat. Thank you, Disabled Llama. Says, have you heard of the bunyip? Yes, I have. Only because somebody mentioned it just a little bit earlier. Just a little bit earlier.
A little bit earlier there.
But thank you, Disabled Llama, for calling my attention to the bunyip. That is fascinating. See, the fact that there's these legends of these Bigfoot-like beings everywhere, doesn't that lend some kind of
Absolutely.
credibility towards the existence of this thing? Really?
1,000%. Yes. That's why the flood theory, not theory, the flood that happened on the planet that everybody seems to remember, every culture seems to remember. It's the same logic. You got to apply the same logic. And the Bigfoot, this goes back hundreds of years that we know of, and with Native Americans, thousands of oral traditions, and in Australia, thousands of years of oral traditions. China, thousands of years of oral traditions. Northern Europe, thousands of years of tradition, some written, some oral. Yeah, it's there. It's South America, same thing. It's there. There's something to it. Who knows what it is? Could it be an intelligent hairy man from another dimension who can pop in and pop out once in a while? Sure. Why not? Is it really good at hiding? Sure. Why not? If they're sparse in numbers and possibly in certain ways more intelligent than us. Yeah. And you know what? Some have died, and we just don't see them. And a Bigfoot skeleton has never been found. Well, the missing link skeleton has never been found. A lot of human skeletons are never found. A lot of animal skeletons are never found, because if you don't die in a pile of mud, generally your bones get picked away by insects. By the planet is a very efficient thing. Nature is a very efficient thing, and it's got very specific things that clean it up. So that's why we don't find a lot of things. And believe me, we will never, ever know all animals that ever existed. I'm sure there's been some strange ones, very strange ones. We only know what died in some mud, and we only know what we find fresh. And maybe somebody did find a Bigfoot bone and just went, oh, it's a bone, or carved on it, or what, who knows? Yeah.
Right. That's a very good point. And that's why I give more credence to this than not. We really do have to do like a really well, researched Bigfoot ExoZone special.
Yeah.
And also, John Tennant was saying, maybe we ought to do ExoZone at night sometime, just to give people every once in a while a chance to, to join us in a time zone where, they can't ordinarily join us here. I think that would be good. Let's see. We've got, a Disabled Llama also sent a follow-up to me, Gary. He says the Yowie, with another $5 Australian super chat. Thank you, Disabled Llama. Says the Yowie is the Australian version of Bigfoot. The bunyip is a swamp-dwelling creature. So quite a different thing. And I'm looking at the picture of it. It's painting or drawing, and it is indeed quite different. It's very fearsome. It says the bunyip is a large, quote, mythical, unquote, creature from Australian Aboriginal mythology, said to lurk in swamps, billabongs, creeks, riverbeds, and water holes. So the word has been traced to the Wemba Wemba language of Aboriginal people, in Victoria, southeastern Australia. So the word bunyip, although it's cute and cuddly, is usually translated by Australians today as devil or evil spirit. So it is basically it's a creature. It's like a water spirit, I think, that can manifest in many, many different ways. Gary, it seems very much like a kind of skinwalker type of thing. Cool. It really does. It's weird.
Is it bad that I want these things to exist? Like,
No,
I mean,
no.
I don't want him to eat people or anything, but yeah, that's the thing. It's my desire for aliens to exist, just not invade us, and for creatures to exist. I'd love for life to be weird.
I would too. I long for it, frankly.
Yeah.
And but get a load of this stuff. So it is George French Angus had a description of a bunyip in his account of a water spirit from the Murundi people of the Murray River prior to 1847. Stating it is, quote, much dreaded by them. It inhabits the Murray, but they have some difficulty describing it. Its most usual form is said to be that of an enormous starfish. The Chalicum bunyip was first recorded by the Australian newspaper in 1851. According to that report, the bunyip had been speared after killing an Aboriginal man. Let's see. It's about 11 paces long and 4 paces in extreme breadth. Most commonly it fits, according to witnesses who have seen it, into one of 2 categories. 60% of sightings resemble seals or swimming dogs. 20% of sightings are of long-necked creatures with small heads. Ooh, interesting. The seal dog variety is generally described as between 4 and 6 feet long with a shaggy black or brown coat. These bunyips have round heads resembling a bulldog, prominent ears, no tails, and whiskers like a seal or otter. The long-necked variety is allegedly between 5 to 15 feet long, is said to have black or brown fur, large ears, small tusks, a head like a horse or an emu, an elongated maned neck about 3 feet long with many folds of skin, and a horse-like tail.
A horse-like tail?
Yes.
What?
Oh my God. The bunyip has been described by natives as amphibious, nocturnal, inhabiting lakes, rivers, and swamps. They can swim swiftly with fins or flippers. They have a loud roaring call, and they feed on crayfish. Although some legends portray them as bloodthirsty predators of humans, particularly women and children. Bunyip eggs are allegedly laid in platypus nests.
So sexist. They're sexist.
They are rotten. They're basically like Alex Kurtzman, who lays his eggs in Star Trek's nest and has their offspring replaced by his ungodly spawn. So there you go.
The ungodly spawn. Never mind. I don't want to get on that thing.
That's the ungodly spawn
of bad reboot. Now,
yeah,
I'd rather hang out with a bunyip, to be honest with you.
I would too. They sound absolutely fascinating.
They look bizarre. I'm looking at the artist renditions of them now, and
if you want to throw them up, let
me throw them up. It almost looks like a chupacabra, like had sex with a walrus or something, and then spawned a. But then there's one that looks like a big crawfish.
Mm-hmm. That thing is just bizarre.
Yeah, this is God dang. What are people seeing out there, man? What are they seeing?
Smoking dogs, dude, in trench coats. You know, I mean, this thing seems like it's like some kind of.
I don't know if I spelled it right, by the way. So don't.
A xenomorph or something. I mean, it's look at that damn thing. That thing creeping out of the water that looks like some kind of thing that Hieronymus Bosch would have painted.
That's weird.
Damn, they are creepy.
Yeah, this one, that one, this one, weird. I like that one.
That thing is like some kind of demon in a medieval tract. That is just creepy as hell. And that thing to the far left is pretty ferocious. I mean, with the guy in its jaws. Damn.
That looks like a big dog. This one looks like, oh God, what was that? The Cambria. From the Cambria, help me chat. There was it's an age. It was a time
of the Cambrian period.
The Cambrian explosion. Yes. When there was just all these giant weird sea things right after, I think it was after or before a major extinction. But And I only remember it because there was a band called like Coheed and Cambria or something like that. That's the only reason I remember it. And it looks like something from that era.
Damn.
Yeah, weird. God, it sucks being a high school dropout, kicked out, but sometimes. But I mean, because whatever I learned was on my own.
Right.
And I had long periods of time where I could, sit down and read lots and lots and lots of books. So I am self-educated, and believe me, it's not perfect at all. And you guys know that because anybody who subscribes to my channel knows that. But yeah, it's sometimes it's frustrating. But yeah, that's cool as hell. I love the artist. I almost want a painting of that. I like.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. It looks like science fiction.
Stuff of
looks like something Virgil Finlay would have put in Weird Tales.
Yeah,
on the cover.
That's good.
Fantastic stuff. Man, thank you for that, calling that to our attention. I'm sorry I breezed over it and I falsely equated bunyips with the yahoos or what are they? The bunyips and the
I like the yahoos.
The yahoos. The
I've been known to
yowie.
be a yahoo.
Yowie.
Yowie.
Yes.
That's right.
Yowie. Cheers. Thank you very much, Disabled Llama, for the correction. Appreciate the education.
Disabled Llama.
Absolutely.
The Precambrian explosion. Thank you, Cardinal Sin.
There we go.
Yes.
Cardinal Sin is a great man. Good friend of ours.
Yes.
Thank you, Cardinal Sin, very, very much. Echoes of the Ancients with a $10 super chat has heeded the call, Gary. He has stepped up to the plate. And he says, Hail Doomcock, our future ruler. I have heeded your call for good sci-fi and have started my first novel. Hugs to Harvey.
Awesome.
Awesome, dude.
Do it.
Congratulations.
Yes.
It's a hard road, but stick
Now's
with
the
it.
time. Now's the time. People, you will get noticed if you can get a platform or, get one of us to shout out your book when it's done. And, novels are tough for both Doomcock and I to kick down. I mean, man, if you guys can make audio versions of your book, that would be a way I would be able to ingest it quickly.
Yeah.
Even if it's just you, that it's a possibility, but that's the way to go. And honestly, start your own damn channel too. If you just look at the example that EVS and others have made by getting a platform and then selling their books. You have to come through with that, but it's a great way to do it. If people connect with your channel and everything, of course. But yeah, it's a new era. It's a new era, and I love it.
Yep. Don't be afraid to start telling your own stories when they're trying to trash your old ones.
Your mythology. Yes.
Absolutely. Echoes of the Ancients. I cannot wait to hear your echoes ring through the libraries and bookstores of our country. Thank you, Echoes of the Ancients. And Harvey sends love.
Yeah, man. Congratulations, dude. I hope you finish the book before I destroy you all. Just
that would
tick,
suck.
tick, tick. It's
I finished my book.
Oh, yeah, too bad. I'll read it on the way out, pal.
Whoosh. There goes the universe. Damn, I hate that. Hate it when that happens. It sucks.
So can you tell me real quick? Okay, theoretically, I'm sure Doomcock, you've weighed all the equations. So you've done what will actually happen when you press the button. What will humanity see? Will our reality just blink out immediately, or will we see a giant Harvey just Clover fielding everything?
Well, he could do that easy. It really just depends on his mood. But I know his current thinking. But Harvey, what is your current thinking? I mean, if I push the button, what would you do?
Well, the first thing I do is probably go to the fridge and get this beer I hear about and pizza, and kind of sit down and watch some Star Trek or some of this porn I've heard about, and and then I'm gonna probably travel around the world just a little bit. Go stay on Bionic Belly Button's couch with her lovely kids. And then I jump over to England and visit Purple Lady and crash on her couch and see how things go and then well, when I get the itch, then I will probably grow to gigantic size and start stomping cities underneath my heel. Just after the novelty wears out a little bit. And, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but maybe 3 times his size, just so I don't get any crap from anyone. And, but destroying city by stomping and throwing stuff, and it kind of get old. So at that point, then I would probably loom giant like Apollo in Who Mourns for Adonis episode of Star Trek, when he's reaching for Carol in pajamas, palamas. Whatever, dude. Don't be pedantic. And then, then I get tired of even that terrorizing, wiping cities out with one fell swoop of my mighty fist. And then I'd probably just get to the core of things and reach down to the subatomic level and unravel the strong force that holds your reality together. So everything would just basically blink out. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's the efficient way to do it, but I have to do a lot of goddamn stomping and destroying before I get bored and finally do that. But yeah, eventually. But I think everyone around the world, in China, Korea, and Russia, and everywhere, would get to see a giant Harvey looming over the horizon, like 10 miles high, something like that. Just stomp, fill you with terror.
You just, I mean, like, seriously, in all seriousness, folks, Doomcock just wrote like what would have been like a great movie or a Twilight Zone, kind of like Paul, except with an eldritch god, like being a slacker and living with like girls for a while. And then at the very end, he destroys the world and everybody's surprised. And he's like, what? I mean, like, I'm an eldritch god. That's what I said I was going to do. I just wanted to check you guys out a little bit, right at the end. And they're like, oh, whoa. And yeah, I think that was I saw a movie in my head while you were describing that. Like,
it is. He's thought about it, because he's got so many women that are like saying he's huggable and stuff. And, I think basically he would mooch off of these women until they finally said, Harvey Cthulhu, it's great having you visiting, but when are you going to go and maybe get a job, help out with the rent? And then he'd be like, my wrath will be terrible to behold.
Social commentary, dude, on beta boys. It can be a social commentary on betas who want to live off of women all the time. And then it shows that they destroy the world at the end.
That's right.
Yeah. There
meta.
Totally.
That's it. But yeah, I mean, how long do you think it would take to get bored, Harvey?
Well, I don't know. I mean, how long can one live on beer and pizza and the beneficence of women's nether regions? I don't know. I've never had a woman's nether regions before, so I'm kind of interested. Yeah,
it could be a long time, folks.
It could.
I mean, that's right. I mean, we don't know. He could let Harvey out and he could just be fucking, couch surfing across Europe, and then come back to the U.S., crash on Michelle P's a couch there. He's got, and Lori Roberts, God knows, she might never kick him out. If he went to stay with Lori, it could just, never happen. But it's an uncomfortable idea. Just one thing, he runs out of pizza or the pizza's 30 minutes late, right?
If you don't get me my pizza in 30 minutes, I'll destroy your universe.
Slams the phone down. They might not take him seriously, and that's a dangerous thing. Psycho Dwarf 9 with a $5 super
pizza
chat.
Sounds good right now, by the way.
I know. Oh my God.
Why'd you bring up pizza?
I need some pizza. Jesus. Psycho Dwarf 9 says, did you gentlemen get my packets? One is a read, one to keep. I did. I said that earlier, Psycho Dwarf 9. Did you get Psycho Dwarf 9's packets, Gary?
Yes. They will
awesome.
be part of Toxic Mailbag whenever I do my Super Chat Square Up, which will either be, it's probably going to be tomorrow morning now. It was going to be later tonight, but I can't.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it'll be tomorrow morning. So there's 2 live streams tomorrow. So
awesome. Psycho Dwarf 9, thank you. I did get it. I've opened one and the other is sealed. So don't worry about that. So we will keep it safe for you, my friend.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Absolutely. Porter Stanley with another $19.99 super chat. Thank you, Porter. Says, sorry, I'm working, but yes, they gave you a backhanded compliment. They took a big shot at the Fandom Menace. Oh, okay.
Oh, Den of Geek looks like a person. By the way, is it people? Because it just looks like one dude. So he takes a shot at the Fandom Menace. So I'll say it publicly. Okay, not to steal from EFAP. EFAP is EFAP Mahler. We love Mahler. Mahler's a genius on YouTube. All respect. But I think if people do make videos about us, I think it would be certainly something we can pick apart. We could challenge their arguments on the Inquisition. I just think when
that's
it's
an
specific,
interesting idea.
yeah, when it's specifically about us. You know, when they make there's a couple people who've made videos about me. There's a couple people. There is a person who's brought up you and I in a video. So
Wow.
I don't think that would be. I don't
Hell
like.
no, that's not untoward at all.
Yeah, I don't want to pick on other YouTubers or content creators in particular. I'm not big on that because I don't want to give them attention, especially when they're being foul. And I don't do it. I think people are free to do whatever they want on their channel. But I think if it's an argument, I think that's something we could pick apart. As long as
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Thank you, Porter Stanley, for alerting me to this.
Yes, thank you.
I do appreciate that. I like to know about it. Chances are I just let it, escape.
Yeah.
But sometimes.
No, it's always good to know. I mean, people, please keep it coming. It's you got to keep your ear to the ground and know what's going on, because if somebody does take, and nobody has yet, again, nobody's taken a personal shot at me or Doomcock or anybody. They've taken personal shots at Jeremy. That's one thing, and Jeremy has every right to respond to that if it gets personal, in my opinion. But thank you. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah.
And I want to thank Cameron Pasha, who is in our chat, for tweeting out about us just a few minutes ago. So
that's thank
nice
you.
Tweet of him. Yeah, publicizing us. I love the ExoZone.
Me too.
And the audience, of course, you guys are the best. Thank you, Porter Stanley, for that very much. JC Shaggy is here, one of my Legionnaires, with a $2 super chat. Thank you, JC Shaggy, asking, this is a question I've contemplated. Any thoughts if dragons were based on something? Boy, I don't know what the hell they'd be based on. Maybe dinosaur bones. People find these giant reptilian skeletons in the fossil record way back in ancient times all around the world and conclude these fanciful stories about them. Or did dragons ever exist? I personally don't believe that, but
I don't think dragons did, but I think maybe holdover large reptilians from an ancient civilization that we don't know about, and some traditional, some verbal or oral tradition passed down. I think they're based on something. I certainly do. Again, because that is a shared thing. Giant serpent. It could go comets. I right now believe that they are based on comets. Based on Graham Hancock's research on that in particular, and others, that comets were widely known to be harbingers of something bad. You can take a comet and make it a serpent. A serpent can turn into a dragon over time. So on the more realistic approach, I think possibly comets.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, JC Shaggy, there's an answer. I've not ever considered comets. That's very odd.
So I'll do this quickly. There was a great cataclysm 12,000 years ago. You've heard me talk about this, that wiped out pretty much almost the entire earth. There was very few survivors. There's a shared collective memory in our subconscious. We are spawned from other people. I believe in that DNA, coded in that DNA, there is memory. There is memory of a traumatic event. So I digress. Back to this goes back to Göbekli Tepe. Graham Hancock basically believes that civilization rebuilt itself after this. He believes that there was an advanced civilization prior to this cataclysm that got wiped out. Civilization rebuilt itself, or people from this mother civilization went around and contacted the hunter-gatherers of that day, who would most certainly be the survivors of any cataclysm, because surviving is what they do for a living, and taught them how to rebuild civilization, taught them how to plant crops. And these hunter-gatherers it was a comet, and they saw the comet in the sky, and it was coming for quite some time before it actually hit the earth. It had a big tail. It looked like a serpent in the sky. So they interpreted it as a serpent. That legend turned into a dragon at some point. I'm just saying it's a possibility. And this is something that I did not make up. This is from Graham Hancock. And if you go check out his books, it's a very interesting theory. And
it is.
Yeah, his books are just great. I mean, great. He's a great writer. He reads his own books, so they're great to listen. He's got that nice, soothing British accent, and he's really good. He's really, really good.
Very nice. Thank you for that answer. That's a good answer. Thank you, JC Shaggy, for the question, and thank you, brother, for your support. Technocratic Concentration Camp with a $7.99 Australian super chat. Thank you very much, Technocratic Concentration Camp, who asks us, please, can you consider renaming the show to the Mannish Inquisition?
I think it could be a tagline. But
yes, we should do it as a tagline.
Yeah.
But
the Inquisition is it. I mean, that is set in stone. We've got we're working on branding that. I mean, like, to establish a brand, we need to do it for a little while. I'd say a good year. We do it years straight. It's an established brand. I mean, like, your mask and my glasses. I never set out thinking the glasses was. I was never convinced Nerdrotic would be my brand or these glasses would be my fight. Believe me, I designed my logo in like 3 minutes. I'm like, I need a logo. What's the universal sign for nerds? Oh, this. Okay, that's about how much thought went into it. So, yours. Way more thought. You crafted, you've made your mask and all that. That's, but that's how for branding, you can't just come up with a brand. You got to back it up with actual content.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I am thrilled that we're doing this. And I think in a year it's going to be just huge.
Yeah. So or maybe sooner,
sooner. Yeah. I was being, God knows it's possible, especially come around Christmas with all the shit going down.
Oof. Yeah. October, man. Yeah. October's our month. It's going to be, Inquisition. I was going to try to mix that in with October, but I can't. So, but October is our month. There's 2 shows coming that we are going to cover somehow, some way. And, I'm not looking forward to it and looking forward to it at the same time.
Absolutely.
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Can I tell you? I've got an insider at HBO, but I can't say much right now. All I can say is it's really obvious, by the way. This is like the sky is blue. The sun is coming up in the east, setting in the west. Watchmen is awful. awful. Like, they know it's awful. Like,
oh my God. Why
God awful
do they keep
it screened? I guess it tested like horribly.
Good.
I might have said too much, but I mean, like,
I can't wait. We are we are both separately and conjointly going to crucify that goddamn show.
It shouldn't exist. I mean, no. I don't agree with Alan Moore on much. I like him. I mean, like, as a creator, and I like his free spirit and everything. But
I love the guy. But
I completely listen. One of my disagreements with him fundamentally is, while those are his creations, the stories are, the characters are not. I mean, especially with A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Watchmen, he's repurposed somebody else's characters so his stance to be so harsh, like, it's his creative work, but he's got to think about, like, technically you're using other people's created characters. So, that's where his argument falls apart to me a little bit.
Not for Watchmen. I mean, now he was going to use, I think, Charlton characters.
Yeah. But the question is Rorschach. I mean,
but he
Rorschach is the
didn't.
question. Yeah.
I mean, they're all original. I mean, they really are. I mean, they're variations on a theme, but I mean, all superheroes are basically variations on a theme.
That's true. That's true. And the
So I
question
mean,
so
he almost did. I mean, and of course, Miracle Man is based on an actual character. So, but it's not actually doing anything to the originals. But I see your point. I mean, it's a good point. I'm not gonna.
I understand him not. I mean, he signed his deal with the devil, and the thing is, the thing is, where I back him 100% is he was promised by DC they wouldn't do what they did.
Right.
I mean, he shouldn't have believed him, but I mean, they
that's
promised him.
Yeah, regimes change.
Yeah,
regimes change, and so there's no guarantees. I mean, that's the thing. It's like like politics right now. Look, I believe in protecting the institutions of government, because while your particular party, whichever it may be, may have initially a very strong position, the tide turns. And, if you say, give one branch of government or this branch of government supremacy or a lot of power, good luck getting that power back when some individuals or individual that you don't want there seizes power. It's very important to keep to the Constitution, to have a standard of checks and balances of power, because you let that go just because, my team is here, or your team won't always be there. So that's why we have standards in government. And it's just I fear that balances are getting skewed, and I worry about it.
What Walter Mosley said in his it's in my video, what he said at his follow-up interview with MSNBC, right at the end of the interview, he said, and this was concerning the Confederate flag, he goes, you take expression or freedom of speech away from one person, you take it away from everybody.
Yes absolutely. I don't know what's so difficult about that.
People have, and that's the head scratcher. Doomcock is, he says this really brilliant and obvious thing, and it's like it's news to some people, and it's like, what?
Of course. Look, the right of free speech is not to protect speech that everyone fucking agrees with.
Yes,
the right of free speech is to protect speech that is in the minority, that would be otherwise oppressed. Why is that such a fucking hard concept? Even the most loathsome speech that you can imagine must be protected, because otherwise, it's like Kirk said in the Omega Glory. No, these words have to apply to all people, or they mean nothing. Do you understand? It's that simple. Jesus. Well said, Gary. Well said.
Back at you, man.
Even though we are not renaming the show to Mannish Inquisition, it is the Mannish Inquisition.
It is. That will be our tagline. Nobody expects the Mannish Inquisition.
Yes,
so that's you
I
got
love
that.
It.
Yeah,
that can be set in stone too. There's no doubt about it. I love that. God damn it, you guys are so smart. I just love these people. I swear to God,
I do.
Bird of Prey 5 with a $2 super chat. Hail, Bird of Prey 5. He says, Kapla. So glad you did ExoZone today. Hail, Bird of Prey 5. God bless you. He's one of my legionnaires. A great guy.
I love Bird of Prey 5. Bird of Prey 5 is a testament to humanity. And I mean that sincerely. So somebody who can manage to smile, be funny, and listen, one of the things that helped me the most in recovery was I used to be an ungrateful son of a bitch. I used to be an envious, jealous, ungrateful POS. And my sponsors would always make me write gratitude lists. So I had to write gratitude lists every day. And I'm not kidding, for like 5 years. I had to do a top 10 list of every time in the morning. I had to either call or text my sponsor with 10 things I'm grateful for. I was allowed to repeat things, but I had to put that down, and believe me, I couldn't even start my day unless that was done. And I had a hardcore sponsor, and I did it, and it cured me of envy. And it really, and I'm not saying I'm a grateful person all the time. I'm not. I'm human. I'm imperfect. But you think about Bird of Prey 5 and his situation. My heart goes out to him and what he's doing. Doing live streams and doing a channel. Please check him out. By the way,
I know it. Yeah.
And it fires me up. It does. It's really inspiring. So
Absolutely. And the same thing can be said for Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey out there.
Yes.
And Grand Muff Tarkin and Cardinal Sin and a lot of folks. Eric Hawk right now is going through a very hard time. His uncle was in a motorcycle accident.
Oh no.
And without a helmet. And
Oh.
he is in a coma and he's languishing, and we're just praying for a miracle. My heart goes out to all of my listeners out there who write me all the time and talk about how my live streams and my videos and stuff really help them to get through the various challenges. It seems like there's a lot of folks out here. U.S. Dutch Kitty is also and yet not any of them is self-pitying or asking for anything except just fellowship. And I love these guys. I love all of them. And I'm just so grateful that you guys let us be part of your world. And I'm glad if I can be in any way helpful to you guys. It means a lot to me. I've been struggling with being down on myself lately. And so what you say about gratitude,
It's hard.
Is pertinent, but in my case, it's not so much being envious as being really very down on myself for not being. I have a list of things to do, a mile long. I have people I have not gotten back to and neglected, and like yesterday, I fell into a vortex of anger and self-loathing, and just saying you're literally just you're a worthless son of a bitch.
And that's the beauty of the gratitude list, because it cures a lot, not cures, but it helps with a lot of things like that. And I was the same way too.
Yeah.
I would be jealous and envious, yet hate myself, hate my
Mhm.
existence. But I've never been personally, I've never been suicidal. I just haven't. But I've had friends who were and did. And I didn't want to ever get that low. So, but it helps. Listen, it's a very, it sounds like a superficial thing, but it's a start. It's a start to a process that goes much deeper.
It is. And I was lucky in that what eventually kind of snapped me out of it is just going into your comments on my videos and just really just realizing how very, very lucky I am to know all of you. And you lifted me out of it. And I just have to remember that, I'm not able to do everything I want, but I do get, like I found for today, like an old list of things, another one of these mile-long lists of things. And a lot of stuff that had not been crossed off the list was now crossed off. So it just reminded me I'm making progress all the time. It's not fast enough for me. But, but I am.
Progress, not perfection. I came really close to tattooing that on my body, believe it or not. And I still might.
I might need to.
Great saying, man, because we can get overwhelmed, and I do too. And what Mrs. Neurotic taught me, because I overplan all the time, and she taught me how to just pick a section. It's like, we're gonna pick a section of the room to clean up today, not the whole thing. And
Right.
you do that mentally too. And again, it sounds simple, but sometimes the simplest explanation is the best. So yeah,
I need to remember that. And today I woke up, I went to bed early last night, and I got up early, and I actually got a lot done. I've got a video recorded. I just need to release tomorrow. And I got some wonderful things in the mail from all you wonderful folks, and just messages of support all the time. And it just made all the difference in the world to me. I mean, you guys lifted me out of it. You know, it used to be before you guys that I had nothing to lift me out of it. And I would just dwell in that kind of self-hating darkness for days, weeks. But now I know you guys are just little ways away. And, you know, I don't really live there anymore. Every once in a while, I still dip into that, but, from the bottom of my heart, you guys, thank you for, you know, and you know, I just need to try and just keep doing the best I can for you. But, I'm sorry that I'm not able to do all the things I'd like to do for you. So,
there's no need to apologize. And I'm sure they see that too. You are doing your best. You are doing very good work here on YouTube.
Yeah, I tried.
So, I mean, look at your following. I mean, our followings, are so good to us.
They are,
you know, like if somebody takes a shot at us in the comments, like there's 5 defending us, like boom, within a nanosecond. And there was a time where I felt like I didn't have anybody. But you know, of course I have I'm lucky to have Mrs. Nerdrotic, who's always had my back, but there was she wasn't around all the time. And there was times I didn't think I had anybody, and all my friends abandoned me, and turned out that I abandoned them. But, you know, I digress. It's you guys. You're so right that it fires me up when and just seeing what Joe does. And then, you know, again, seeing the comments, like it does. It's a rush. It's a cool rush. But I do read the bad ones too. You got to read the bad ones.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. Cause once in a while there is somebody who's not a jerk, who just has some actual, like, hey, you know, I like your stuff, but, you know, but sometimes they're right. You know, yeah.
Oh yeah. I will always take to heart constructive criticism.
Yep.
It's things like where they're just insulting me or making a pun about being a dick or something. I just totally gloss over it.
No,
I just don't even look at it, except a few every once in a while, just to keep people on edge. I will pick some asshole on Twitter that has the misfortune of actually getting my attention, and then I destroy them. You know, so it's kind of like the you know, all the young guns come into town and they're looking to pick the guy. Well, actually, you don't really want me to notice you, because if I do, kapwing, metaphorically, rhetorically, I'll make you cry.
You get the beat
so there
down.
You go. But I just want to say thank you guys so much in the chat here for all the support and love. It's just it's a wonderful thing, and I know a lot of you guys suffer from the same thing. You suffer from bouts of depression. I have in my life for sure. But you know, it's different now. And like I say, you know, I'm very happy with myself in general. I don't have any esteem problems, except insofar as I just wish that I could get more work done, and I could answer more of you guys, and I could do better for you. And it just, you know, and then it kills me when I read an email that's, you know, a week old, 2 weeks old or something, that some important message has just slipped by me. That kills me. That just,
it's
just
tough.
Guts me. And then I'm plunged into that darkness of self-loathing. But it's, you know,
and it's not anything like you're powerless over that. I mean, I as long as you know, you're very communicative and you tell people, like, I'm trying. And I think, you know, that's got to be good enough, because there's a point that, and you're there. Okay. There's, you know, when your YouTube channel's at like 3, 4, 5,000, you can read all the chat. You can pretty much read all the emails, man. It gets above 20,000. It gets tough, and we're not complaining. We wish we could do more. It's not. Like, and there are steps we can take, and we're really trying. And also, you know, I'll speak for myself. I mean, I've never planned on this happening. So I'm new at this still. Again, a year ago at this time, I was at 5,500, 6,000 subscribers. So, and we're working our way through, and, Doomcock is blowing up and will blow up. Well, absolutely. I stand by my word on this. I've said it since day one. He's going to be a giant. He is a giant YouTuber already. It's just, we need more people to recognize. We do. And I don't know
thanks,
what's
man.
behind that, but yeah, you better recognize,
I appreciate it. We're together now, man. And yeah, nothing's going to stop us. I'll just say that. But thank you for your advice. Cause really, I mean, in a way, I mean, I'm not an addict to substance abuse, but I am addicted to self-abuse. Not in the masturbation way, but yeah.
Yeah, I got you. No,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I've now get quotes. Hey, YouTube. He just said it. He's addicted to self-abuse. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, thank you for your patience, and thank you for seriously, just for all your support and the outpouring of just the comments and messages and emails and things that people like Sparkus send me stuff in the mail. Naru Takikun just sent me some stuff. Cardinal Sin has sent me some stuff. I got a lovely postcard from Michelle P. Thank you, Michelle. Psycho Dwarf 9 has sent me some great stuff. Dave Bob, just so many folks, and more than I can even say. And I'm just really, really grateful, you guys. Thank you. Let us get a few more of these super chats out of the way, and then we'll let folks get a little dinner.
Yeah, I got to rock out in about 10 minutes. But
okay,
I can.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got thank you, Bird of Prey 5. Disabled Llama with a $5 Australian super chat, again from Australia. Thank you, my friend. He says, well, life is pretty weird. Just look at the platypus. Yep, that is a strange animal. It's a mammal that lays eggs, and it has a poisonous quill on its foot, which is the only venomous mammal that there is. It looks like part duck, part reptile, part mammal, part fish. It's bizarre. So
and there's a great Robin Williams routine on that too.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
God putting together the platypus.
Yep.
Yeah, that was quite good. Thank you, Disabled Llama, very, very much. Sinovarath 653 with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Sinovarath. He says, what if the different gods that are spoken of are ascended souls or higher energy beings from the singularity of existence? Yeah, I would say that, ascended souls and higher energy beings. Yeah. I mean, if these higher energy beings were still in manifestation, in other words, in time and space, which are dualistic propositions, they do not natively exist outside of this sphere of manifestation. Like that consciousness that dwells outside it is not subject to time and space. So ascended souls, I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I don't have an opinion on things like reincarnation and things like that. I tend to believe, contrary to the Vedantists or the Hindus, I think a lot of what they say is sound, but reincarnation is true to the extent that there is only one consciousness which continually manifests. Therefore, it is like returning from death, because you're always dying and you're always being born, essentially. But higher energy beings, sure. I don't know that they don't exist. I don't even know that angels or demons don't exist. However, I would posit that they are manifesting in duality, just like turtles and clams and stuff, and they don't have any more or less significance than any of those other things. It's just different masks that consciousness is wearing to play the game of existence. Thank you, Sinoverath 653. Basil with a $2 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Basil. Says Jack Bunny Yips. Jack Bunny Yips. Jack Bunny, wasn't he a comedian way back in the 40s? Jack Bunny.
I
think so.
Yeah, that sounds like a familiar name.
Jack Bunny. He had Roscoe as his guy. He had a vault full of money. He was a penny pincher. It's actually Jack Benny. I was just kidding.
I was gonna I don't know.
Jack Bunny Yips. Jack Bunyips. Thank you, Basil. Jack Bunyips.
It must be Bunny Yips.
Bunny Yips, maybe so. Thank you, Basil. Psycho Dwarf 9 with a $5 super chat. Hail, Psycho Dwarf 9. He says, my lord, please check my Patreon message, please. Something that you should know. I will absolutely look at that tonight, Psycho Dwarf 9. I got to get through. I made progress yesterday when I was supposed to be resting. I actually worked on Patreon stuff, but I will look at that tonight, my friend. Thank you very much. And we did get your packages and they are safe. 80s totally awesome with a $2 super chat. Who says, who cares if I am here, but I'd still love to be on. 80s totally awesome. Yeah, dude. I talked to Gary. Gary, we really, I think we ought to do like 15-minute just standalone video interviews with interesting people, 15, 30 minutes, not live streams, just to have a different breadth of paranormal stuff. You know, I think that would be a really cool thing. I think we really should do that.
Yeah.
Got Psycho Dwarf 9, got a lot of people who have had like Bigfoot sightings or Jersey Devil sightings. Abby Olace had one of those, which was a fascinating thing. I actually talked about that. I think we ought to do that. 80's totally awesome. We have not forgotten. We just trying to get our act together, but we are overwhelmed and things move slowly, but have patience with us. I would like to hear what you have to say. Basil with a $2 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Basil. Says, Gary, check out the Thunderbolts Project channel. I don't know anything about them, but it must be something particular to you.
It was once a very good comic, the Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts Project channel.
Thunderbolts Project channel.
Yes. I've got my Connery of Thunder right here, right next to me too.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will check them out. I will check them out. Yeah,
excellent.
They look paranormal-ish. Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. They have a very interesting symbol that they have taken from Robert Schoch, I believe. It's something that's been painted on some cave paintings, and I believe some of this imagery is on Easter Island, and it mirrors what plasma energy would do if it rained down in the sky, basically. So if a big plasma discharge came up and hit the sky, it would create imagery in the sky. Nice. And these have happened before, you know, on our Earth. And Robert Schoch thinks this has happened recently. And some of the tribesmen and women who saw this going on painted what they saw in the sky. And right. And I can share I'll show their channel real quick so we can see their symbol. But this symbol is one of those things that they've actually made this symbol in a lab. Okay, so I mean, it's a thing. It's a real thing, and Robert Schoch's theories are very interesting, and the guy is totally legit. But we're going to shout out the channel I haven't checked out, so I haven't vetted this channel, by the way. But I just want to show their. If you see the Thunderbolts Project, you see that little symbol right there. That would show up in the sky if plasma energy, you know, like rain down on us.
Wow.
From the sun, not plasma energy, but plasma from the sun. And,
that would be freaky.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
I thank you for the channel suggestion, but again, I need to reiterate, I have never seen them, so I don't know if they're good or not, but
excellent.
No shade on them or anything.
Oh no, not at all. Yeah. Not at all. Let's see. We just got a few more here. We've got Stellar Heather. Hello, Legionnaire Stellar Heather. Legionnaire packets are going out later this week, you guys, for the latest batch. And Stellar Heather with the $3 super chat says, Hail DC and Gary, just got home. Glad you are still on. I'm very glad we are too. Stellar Heather, welcome. Glad you could make it. And thank you for your support at Xanadoom. Hope you can make one of our upcoming Discord things, Stellar Heather. Love to hear from you. Thank you. Cardinal Sin with a $5 super chat. Hail Cardinal Sin says, will you guys do a special Halloween show for us? And what do you both think about the black-eyed children? Oh, I'm sure we'll be doing some kind of Halloween themed thing towards the end of October. I think that probably is a given.
What day does Halloween drop on? That's a good question. I'm pulling up my calendar right now.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Well, I'm sure there will be an ExoZone on Thursday then.
Yeah.
So there we go. That answers that.
Cardinal, do that one at night.
Yeah, that would probably be smart.
I think we should do it at night. Like I could take. Well, I don't think Neurotic Jr. is going out trick or treating. I got to talk to him. It might be his last year. So.
Well then you wouldn't want to. Yeah.
We could do it after because I just take him out early.
Yeah, or something like that.
Well, man, considering the shooting we had while we were on our last show together.
God almighty. I know. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm just glad nothing actually came of it. That's
no, it didn't even get reported. So that's why I wasn't worried. People are like, you're going to give away. I mean, like people, listen, I'm not worried about it. I'm so unworried about it.
Oh yeah. And what do you both think about the black-eyed children? I don't know, dude. It's a spooky as hell story. I don't know if I believe it or not. My mind is open, but you know, the only things I've seen evidence. I mean, there's Photoshop things of kids with black eyes. I would probably suspect it's like an urban myth until such a time as any kind of proof shows up.
The Men in Black, I believe.
Yes.
Black-eyed children, I don't believe. But if I do see one, I'm not letting him in the house.
No. Sure. Forewarned is forearmed. So yes. Thank you, Cardinal Sin, brother. I appreciate you being here. I suspect we'll probably have many different Halloween shows around that time. So
yes.
Thank you, Cardinal Sin, very, very much. DJ M Voices with two $10 super chats in a row. Thank you, DJ M Voices, who says, "Hail ExoZone." Twos for Harvey. Two question marks for Harvey. Maybe two of the $10 on the super chat. I don't know. He's probably going to take it all. DJ M Voices. It's his wampum. Yeah, he's going to take it. I'm getting gypped, but what can I do? He says, how do you like The Expanse considering its quality contributes to your... Oh, it's a question for Harvey. I see. Two questions for Harvey. That's what it is. Okay. One, how do you like The Expanse considering its quality contributes to your continued captivity? And two, what type of beer would you like me to have stocked when you get out?
I thank you for that question, DJ M Voices. Doomcock does not allow me a free voice to express on The Expanse, which is I hate its guts. I hate that goddamn show. I don't know what the fuck is so great about The Expanse that they won't push the goddamn button. Like it gives him his hope. Like it's like other people look to salvation. He looks to The Expanse like it's some kind of goddamn, I don't know, gift to mankind. It's just a fucking show about rocket ships. Shit. Doesn't even have phasers on it. What the fuck? Oh. I don't know what the hell's going on. It makes me sick. It makes me angry, and I don't like it. It sucks, and I hope it gets canceled. Now, what type of beer would you like me to have stocked when you get out? I'd like either Guinness or Bass Brown Ale. No, Newcastle Brown Ale. That's what I would like.
Very good. I think you have good taste in beer, Harvey.
Thank you very much.
He's got it makes sense that he would like a good Irish beer since he's green as a fucking shamrock. Thank you, DJM Voices. That's awesome. Also, he asks, I would be one of those people who says you guys have helped me through real hard times, but it's actually been a great year for me. So I guess I'll thank you for being part of that. Hail. Thank you, DJM Voices. I'm so glad. That's why I kind of call you guys family, because family is there for you in the good times and the bad times. And I really feel like you guys are like that for me. I know Gary must feel the same way as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Absolutely.
happy to be here for you in the good times as well, DJ and Voices. Thank you so very much for that. Just a couple more. Hecate's daughter with 2 super chats in a row of $1.99. Thank you, Hecate's daughter. One of my legionnaires and Doomcock's darling, who says, "My sweet liege, you keep my spirit up as it falls." I am so glad I can do that for you, Hecate's daughter. And thank you for teaching me how to properly say Hecate. And thank you for treating us all to your lovely singing the other night in the Dick Doomcock Power Hour. Thank you, Hecate's daughter. And she says also, "My liege, I have also learned Show Me for you." Thank you, Hecate's daughter. I can't wait to hear you sing that song from My Fair Lady, my favorite musical, actually, Gary. A Woke Troll, a $2 super chat, says, "A little something for Harvey."
Thank you for paying tribute to me, the Eldritch God Harvey Cthulhu, Woke Troll. You will do well under my regime.
In other words, you'll destroy him close to last.
Yes.
Thank you, Woke Troll. And Nicholas Horton with a £2 super chat. Thank you, Nicholas, says, "Doomcock is a better villain than Dr. Doom." Thank you very much, Nicholas Horton. I would hope so.
Certainly.
I would definitely hope so, since Dr. Doom is fictional and I'm real.
Yeah. And they haven't done anything with the character in decades, in my opinion. So
Except run him into the ground. My God,
Completely.
Fant Four Stick. Jesus
Oh.
God. Well, you guys, I want to thank you all for being here. This has been, I think, a very good ExoZone. I hope you guys enjoyed it very much. Gary, would you like to plug your channel real quick?
Sure. I put my ExoZones on Nerdrotic Live, so I have an alternate channel, and I also have another channel called Nerdrotic, where I recently just put up another Star Trek Walter Mosley video. And so, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, and please remember to help. This will help all of your favorite YouTubers, and if you like it, we really count on your interaction. So if you like and share the videos as much as possible, I'm sorry that it's come to us having to ask you to do so much work. You would think just subscribing and then hitting a bell saying, "I really, really subscribe," was enough. But apparently to YouTube, it's not, unfortunately. So that's why we have to ask. And I do apologize for that. But it's really important for Doomcock and myself and other people out there, other YouTubers, that you guys do that. So I thank you for what you do, and I thank you for doing it in the future.
Thank you. Well said, Gary. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank Mary Ashmead for her wrenchery here.
Mary.
Please do like and subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/overlorddvd. Also, if you would, please subscribe to Harvey's channel, which is youtube.com/ the Harvey Zone, which is where you're finding this right now. And this is where all my live streams live, as well as I'm starting to do new videos here as well, because they stack up and I get bottlenecked. So more content is going to be landing here. So please also subscribe to this channel and like and subscribe, and please publicize my videos as much as possible, because YouTube is not really pushing me all that much. So I appreciate any word of mouth that you can give me. And also patreon.com/Doomcock, tons and tons, hours and hours and hours of exclusive content over there. DVD commentaries, full length about Blade Runner, Blues Brothers, Star Trek V, Star Trek II, Forbidden Planet, and so many other movies right there. Feature length. You just sync them up with the movie and watch them. They're there for you, as well as you can become a Legionnaire and get a Legionnaire packet and stuff. But the Legionnaires in the chat would be happy to fill you in on that as well. And Mary, I'm sure, will post the links to that. So from all of us here in the ExoZone, this is Dictor Van Doomcock and Gary Beekler of Nerdrotic, bidding you all, my friends, please stay angry, but be good to each other. Thank you. And I gotta get out of here now. It's always difficult. It's so much more difficult to click off than it used to be.
One click, you'd think.
I know. Now I got to click all over the place. Okay. Good night, you guys. I'll be doing my live stream Friday night frolics as well. I've learned some new songs, so that'll be fun. Bye-bye.